Chapter 1808. Chapter 1808. Chapter 1808. True Emperor, Lu Ming, you killed the Fei, the Arch of the Skywolf Tower. The Skywolf Tower will never let you off. Just wait for your death. An expert from the Skywolf Tower roared and transformed into a giant wolf. His eyes were extremely cold. You're speaking as if you'll let me go if I don't kill him. Lu Ming spoke indifferently with a faint sense of disdain. It was the other party who had been pressing him step by step. Even if he didn't kill the other party wouldn't let him off. He might as well kill to his heart's content. Killing a martial emperor from the other party was a good thing for him. It was at this moment that a loud roar came from the distant sky. This roar was earth-shattering, and even the mountains and rivers trembled. Even the sun in the sky seemed to be shaking, as if it were about to be shaken down. Not good. In the sky, the expressions of the emperor-level powerhouses changed drastically. Their auras burst out, and their world powers circulated, enveloping the powerhouses of their respective sections. As the terrifying sound waves swept past, the defenses set up by the emperor-level powerhouses actually shook violently. As for those who were not protected by emperor-ranked powerhouses, their bodies exploded in the air like fireworks. They died before they could even react. Those who were lucky enough to survive turned pale and were terrified. What kind of existence was this? With a loud roar, a large number of experts were shaken to death, and even the expressions of the emperor-ranked experts changed greatly. Then, everyone saw a flash of light, and a giant wolf appeared on the scene. The giant wolf's body was silver in color and its silver fur was shining. It was 100,000 feet tall and incomparably huge. It looked at Lu Ming with its cold eyes. On his body, there were layers of strange light, like a divine ring, surrounding his body. He was like a god from the legends. World God Light, true emperor expert. The Phoenix Palace's martial sovereign said in a serious tone. Everyone was shocked. It was actually a true emperor. Needless to say, the other party must have come from the Sirius Tower. Even a true emperor had appeared in the Sirius Tower. The martial emperor realm was divided into the minor emperor, the medium emperor, the great emperor, and the heavenly emperor. A minor emperor's throne would initially form a small world. However, the small world at this time was in the process of evolution. There was chaos in it, and living beings had no way of entering. Once they entered, they would be ground into pieces. Therefore, the small emperor throne was also known as the Void Emperor. In other words, the small world hadn't formed yet and living beings couldn't enter. It was considered an illusory emperor, not a true emperor. At the middle emperor level, the small world would be stable and the living beings would be able to survive. This realm was also known as the true emperor. It meant a true emperor. As for the great emperor position, they could control the great Tao and their small worlds could even give birth to living beings. This was even more mysterious and unfathomable. This realm was already the peak of the world. As for the heavenly emperor, he was a legend in the current world. The emperor-level powerhouses that had appeared before were all existences of the minor emperor realm, the Void Emperor realm. Now, the Skywolf Tower had actually sent out a true emperor. When a true emperor's small world was completely formed, their bodies would emit world divine light. Brat, are you the one who killed the Fei, the Arch of my Skywolf Tower? The true emperor rank wolf's eyes were like two suns, shining brightly. It looked at Lu Ming and spoke in a cold voice. Not bad. Lu Ming replied. He was not afraid even if he was facing a true emperor. If he wanted to fight, then he would fight to his heart's content. These major forces were closing in on him step by step, so he could only fight to the end. Very well, I will extract your soul and burn it in the fire of purgatory, making you wish you were dead. The true Emperor Giant Wolf spoke with a cold, killing intent. Let's find out his secret first. At this moment, another voice was heard. Then the void shook and cracked. A figure stepped out of the void. It was a middle-aged man with a cold expression and an air of nobility. His body was also surrounded by a divine ring. Everyone gasped. Another true emperor had appeared. Greetings, Patriarch. The martial sovereign from the Wan family bowed respectfully when he saw the man. This person was the Wan family's true emperor. Gah! A terrifying screech was heard. Following that, everyone saw a golden light flying over from the distance. As the golden light flew past, the space actually rippled like water, and a hideous opening appeared. Then, the golden light faded and a huge three-legged golden crow appeared in the sky. Its sharp eyes scanned the surroundings, sending chills down everyone's spine. True Emperor, another true emperor, the true emperor of the three-legged golden crow race. In ancient Moon Holy Land, true emperor-level experts would not appear unless something important happened. They would either cultivate in seclusion or travel to find ways to increase their strength to resist the tribulation that occurred once every 300,000 years. However, because of Lu Ming, true emperors appeared one after another today. Not good. Huang Ling, Long Chen, and the others who were close to Lu Ming looked anxious. Lord Martial Sovereign, what should we do? Martial Emperor. Anxious, Feng Ling sent a voice transmission to the Martial Emperor powerhouses of Phoenix Palace. It's difficult. In this situation, it's not good for Phoenix Palace to interfere. If our true emperor interferes, I'm afraid it will turn into an all-out war. Therefore, I'm afraid our true emperor won't interfere. The Martial Sovereign of Phoenix Palace said. His words made Huang Ling even more anxious. Would Lu Ming be able to stop the three true emperors with the help of the Great Evolution Elixir formation? A true emperor's strength wasn't something a minor emperor could compare to. If a great emperor didn't appear, who could compete with them? The three true emperors glared at Lu Ming coldly, their eyes glimmering with a cold light. Lu Ming's eyes turned serious. With a thought, the Dian elixir furnace shrank rapidly and floated above his head. At the same time, endless light flashed near the mountain of the elixir furnace. Halos appeared and were extremely gorgeous. You want to stop me with a mere formation? The true emperor of the Sirius Tower said coldly. He stepped on the air and charged toward Lu Ming. Buzz! Buzz! Beams of light shot toward the true emperor from the Sirius Tower. Two beams of silver light shot out of the true emperor's eyes. With a slash, the beams of light were all destroyed. The true emperor from the Sirius Tower strode forward without being stopped. A true emperor expert was much stronger than a void emperor. Condense! Lu Ming roared and controlled the Great Evolution Elixir formation with all his might. At the same time, the Great Evolution Elixir furnace shook and resonated with the Great Evolution Elixir formation. In the sky, an extremely huge elixir furnace was formed. It emitted a brilliant light and blasted towards the true emperor of the Sirius Tower. Break! The true emperor of the Sirius Tower let out a long howl and struck out with his wolf claw. Thump! The wolf's claw hit the pill furnace, but the pill furnace didn't shatter. It had blocked the true emperor's attack. The true emperor's eyes turned cold when he saw that his attack didn't shatter the pill furnace. He clawed out again. Lu Ming controlled the pill furnace with all his might and blasted it at the true emperor from the Sirius Tower. This elixir furnace combined all the power of the Great Yen elixir furnace and the Great Yen elixir formation. Its power was extremely terrifying. Previously, it had almost suppressed 3 martial sovereigns and finally obliterated a demon sovereign. Thump! The true emperor from the Sirius Tower struck the pill furnace again. The pill furnace shook, but it still didn't shatter. It had blocked the attack. Chapter 1809. Chapter 1809. If I don't die, I'll kill all of you at the same time. Lu Ming's figure retreated rapidly. He wanted to retreat back to the mountain of the alchemy furnace. The true emperor was too strong. Even with the help of the Great Evolution Pill formation, he was no match for the true emperor. He might have a chance of survival if he entered the Cauldron Mountain. If you want to leave, then stay. The Wen family's true emperor said coldly. He took a step forward and entered the area of the Pill Furnace Mountain. With a wave of his hand, a small golden pagoda flew out. Then, it grew in the wind and turned into 100,000 feet tall, pressing down on Lu Ming. Not good. Lu Ming's expression changed drastically. This force was too strong. He had no choice but to stop and control the Grand Yen formation to set up layers of defense around him. Boom! The giant pagoda came crashing down. A terrifying force came crashing down on Lu Ming like a storm. The defense set up by the Great Evolution Elixir Formation let out a terrifying roar and exploded continuously. Lu Ming's body was blasted to the ground and he was forced to take more than a dozen steps back. With every step he took, a huge pit was blasted into the ground. After more than a dozen steps, Lu Ming stabilized himself and spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. If he didn't have the Da Yen elixir furnace to protect him, he would probably not have been just injured. Despicable. A few true emperors working together to deal with a junior. Huang Ling clenched her fists, and so did Long Chen. They wanted to help, but there was nothing they could do. A battle like this wasn't something they could interfere with. A true emperor could probably kill them with a single breath. Hand over the Great Evolution Elixir Scripture and the Great Evolution Elixir Furnace, then kneel down and destroy your cultivation. I might let you die a little easier. The Wen family's true emperor placed his hands behind his back and looked down at Lu Ming from above as he spoke coldly. Don't even think about it. Lu Ming let out a long howl, his eyes filled with an unyielding look. Your bones are quite tough, but I'll see how long you can last. The Wen family's true emperor stretched out a palm and pressed down in the air. Buzz. The giant pagoda trembled and the terrifying attack pressed down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming used the Great Evolution Elixir Furnace and the Great Evolution Elixir Formation to block the attack. However, most of the power of the Great Evolution Elixir Formation was used to block the true emperors of the Sirius Tower. The remaining power could not block the true emperors of the Wan family at all. Clang. The Dian Elixir Furnace trembled and Lu Ming's body was hit by a terrifying force. His bones cracked and blood oozed out of his skin. Bang, bang. Lu Ming retreated continuously, coughing out blood continuously. His clothes were stained with blood. However, Lu Ming was still standing straight. His eyes were filled with determination and unyielding spirit. Kneel down. The Wen clan's true emperor shouted. Don't even think about it. Lu Ming roared. His long hair fluttered in the wind and the mountain of alchemy furnace glowed. Rays of light surged towards the Wan clan's true emperor. Lu Ming was actually thinking of counterattacking. The Wen family's true emperor pressed down with his palm again and the halo collapsed. The terrifying power made Lu Ming retreat again and again, vomiting blood. Above him, the giant tower burst out with a terrifying pressure that confined the surroundings, making it difficult for Lu Ming to retreat and rush into the mountain of alchemy furnaces. Kneel down. The Wen family's true emperor's cold voice rang out once again. The giant tower exploded with another wave of energy and blasted Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming retreated again and his injuries became more serious. However, he still stood upright. If I don't die, I'll definitely kill all of you from the 5 forces. Lu Ming howled, his unyielding voice spreading in all directions. His voice was filled with unshakable conviction and a cold, killing intent. If he didn't die, he would definitely kill all the people of the 5 forces. Many people were shocked. In such a situation, Lu Ming was still unyielding and dared to shout out such a voice. This kid was terrifying. If he didn't die, the future would be unpredictable. Many people had such thoughts. Even the Wan family's true emperors, the Sirius Tower's true emperors, the 3-legged golden crow's true emperors, and many other emperor-level powerhouses felt a chill in their hearts. You won't have such an opportunity, the Wen family's true emperor said, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. This kid was too extraordinary. Even if he couldn't get anything today, he had to kill him and get rid of future trouble. Bang. The Wen family's true emperor took another step forward, and a shocking aura burst forth from his body. Light spots bloomed on his body as terrifying weapons flew out one after another. The chi of battle weapons converged, and hideous cracks appeared in the void. It was obvious that the Wan family's true emperor had used all his strength to kill Lu Ming in one fell swoop. Sigh, a few true emperors actually ganged up to bully a great Saint Realm Jr. Ancient Moon Holy Land's power is really getting worse and worse. At this moment, a sigh could be heard. Then, everyone saw an old man walk out of the mountain of pill furnaces. This old man was extremely old. His eyes were cloudy, his hair was about to fall out, and his face was full of wrinkles. His aura was dispirited, and he held a walking stick in his hand as he walked over step by step. Uncle Kong. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. This old man was the old servant of the Dian Elixir Palace, Dan Kong. Who are you? The Wn family's true emperor glanced at Uncle Kong and found that his qi and blood were really weak, just like an ordinary old man who had never cultivated. However, it was obviously impossible for an ordinary old man to appear in such a situation. He's just an old man who's about to enter the grave. He's never been born. Even if I tell you, you won't recognize him. Uncle Kong squeezed out a faint smile. You want to help Lu Ming? The Wn clan's true emperor asked. Of course. Lu Ming is now the hall master of the Dian Elixir Hall. I have to ensure his safety. Uncle Kong said. I'm afraid you don't have the ability to do so. The Wn clan's true emperor's eyes were cold, and his killing intent grew stronger and stronger. Whether I have the ability or not, I have to try. Anyway, this old life is going to be buried soon, so what's the harm in dying? Uncle Kong said with a smile. Since you're looking for death, I'll kill you first. The Wn family's true emperor shouted and pressed his palm down. A shocking aura burst out from the giant pagoda and pressed down on Uncle Kong. The power was far stronger than when he attacked Lu Ming. It was obvious that he did not use his full strength when he attacked Lu Ming just now. He wanted to force Lu Ming to reveal the great evolution elixir scripture and so on. Uncle Kong, be careful. Lu Ming shouted. Uncle Kong's expression didn't change, but the walking stick in his hand was waved. When the staff was swung, it began to grow rapidly, turning into a sky-high staff that struck the giant tower. Boom! A terrifying force spread out in all directions, causing the giant pagoda to shake unceasingly before being sent flying. Uncle Kong's walking stick also rapidly shrank, returning to its normal size as it was held in his hand. So strong! Many people were shocked. This old man who had suddenly appeared had displayed shocking battle prowess and was actually able to block an attack from a true emperor of the Wan family. Could it be that this old man was also a true emperor? Lu Ming was shocked. Uncle Kong's combat strength was beyond his expectations. He had previously guessed that Uncle Kong was most likely a martial emperor, but he had never thought that he was actually a true emperor, a middle emperor powerhouse. So you're also a true emperor? The Wn family's true emperor's gaze turned serious. So what if he's a true emperor? Do you think that you can protect Lu Ming on your own? He must die today. The true emperor from the Sirius Tower broke the Great Yen Elixir formation and came to the side of the Wan family's true emperor. Chapter 1810. Chapter 1810. Uncle Kong's Strength Buzz. With a flash of golden light, the Golden Crow race's demonic emperor also appeared beside the Wan family's true emperor, exuding a terrifying aura. The three true emperors stood side by side. Uncle Kong's expression didn't change. His turbid eyes looked towards the void and his ancient voice rang out. Since you're here, show yourselves. Many people's expressions changed. Were there still experts hiding in the air? The next moment, the void split open and two figures stepped out. One of them was covered by endless purple light, while the other was filled with a terrifying demonic qi. The only similarity between the two was that they were both surrounded by the divine light of the world. The true emperor again. It's the true emperors of the Purple Extreme Sect and the Heavenly Bird Palace. An emperor-level character spoke, his voice heavy. Today, the Wan family, the Sirius Tower, the Golden Crow clan, the Purple Extreme Sect, and the Heavenly Bird Palace, the five forces that had enmity with Lu Ming, had all sent true emperors. Perhaps other forces might also send true emperors, but they just didn't appear. Hee, 5 true emperors, but your purpose is to deal with a great sage realm junior. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at by the world? Uncle Kong's eyes swept over the crowd as he slowly spoke. His voice was filled with ridicule. Lu Ming has killed many people from the 5 major forces. He's insane and must die. No one can save him today. The Wn clan's true emperor said coldly. Oh, you said that Lu Ming killed many people from the 5 major forces. The old man is curious and wants to ask a few questions. Uncle Kong said. The WN clan's true emperors and the rest did not say anything. Today, the true emperors had arrived and Lu Ming could not escape. This old man alone would not be able to stop them. They wanted to see what this old man was up to. First, the people from the 5 major forces that Lu Ming killed were of the Sage realm. Were they of the same generation as Lu Ming? Are there any 7 or 8-year-old or teenager children? Uncle Kong's voice spread in all directions. The WN family's true emperor and the others fell silent. Their eyes flickered, but they didn't reply. Senior, the people that Lu Ming killed were all of the same generation. Many of them were older than Lu Ming. Huang Ling's voice rang out. Oh, I understand. Thank you, little girl. Uncle Kong smiled at Huang Ling and continued. Did Lu Ming ask for help from the older generation? The WN family, the Golden Crow race, and the other true emperors still didn't answer. Senior, I was present for all these matters. Lu Ming did not seek help from the elders. Said Huang Ling, I can be a witness. Long Chen said. All right, the third question. Did Lu Ming kill the people from the 5 major forces with his own strength? Uncle Kong asked again. Yes, it's a full-on battle with my own strength. Huang Ling said. This old man understands. Uncle Kong nodded and looked at the true emperors of the Wan family. Boom. At this moment, a terrifying aura exploded from Uncle Kong's body. It was as if a sleeping ancient beast had come back to life. The terrifying essence energy shot into the sky, and the chi and blood in his body were like flames. Uncle Kong's originally cloudy eyes were no longer cloudy. It was as if the sun, moon, and stars were rotating in them. It was also as if a flame was burning in his eyes, full of sharpness. In a direct battle between peers, you people from the 5 major forces were useless. You couldn't defeat Lu Ming and were killed by him. You void emperors and true emperors actually shamelessly came out and said you wanted revenge. How ridiculous! And you? Uncle Kong's eyes looked at the true emperor of the Sirius Tower. A martial emperor like you came to kill Lu Ming but was killed by him instead. How dare you come out and avenge him? Do you still want your face? Uncle Kong's voice became sonorous and powerful as it spread across the entire area. Lu Ming killed the martial sovereign of the Skywolf Tower by relying on the power of the formation. The true emperor of the Sirius Tower said, Nonsense. As a martial supreme, he's going against a junior in the eminent saint stage. Do you want him to have a fair fight? I think you're not only shameless, but also stupid. Uncle Kong berated him directly, causing the true emperor's expression to turn ugly. So what? It's useless for you to say so much today. You can't change the outcome. Lu Ming must die today. The WN clan's true emperor spoke. His entire body was surrounded by weapons, and he looked extremely domineering. No matter how much he said, it was useless. Lu Ming had to be killed. Lu Ming's talent was too shocking. Since they had already offended him, they had to get rid of him. Otherwise, they would be the ones to be destroyed in the future. Is that so? I've said so much not because I want you to leave, but because I want to say that since you can do this, I might as well do something like bullying the weak. Uncle Kong smiled. As soon as Uncle Kong finished speaking, he took a step forward. Boom. This step turned the world upside down, dimmed the sun and moon, and shook the entire void. In the distance, the martial emperor powerhouse's expressions changed drastically as they shouted, "Quickly retreat!" They led the people below the emperor rank and retreated frantically, wanting to get away from that area because they felt a fatal danger. At this moment, the Wan family's true emperors, the Golden Crow's true emperors, and the others' eyes narrowed. Buzz! A ray of sword light burst forth from the walking stick in Uncle Kong's hand. A sword light illuminated the 9 heavens. This sword was peerless and magnificent, like a flying immortal from beyond the heavens. It broke through the universe and slashed towards the Wan clan's true emperor. 10,000 soldiers! The WN family's true emperor roared. All the weapons around him lit up and actually combined together to form an extremely huge and strange weapon. He then attacked the sword light that Uncle Kong had slashed out. However, as the sword radiance slashed past, that strange weapon exploded into pieces and scattered in all directions. The sword radiance didn't stop and continued to slash towards the Wan family's true emperor. It was unstoppable. The Wn family's true emperor roared as a small world appeared. His body was within the small world as he retreated frantically. However, even though he was fast, the sword light was faster. In an instant, it slashed at the Wan family's true emperor's small world. Under everyone's astonished gazes, the small world was split open by the sword light like a watermelon that was split in half. The sword light did not stop and continued to slash towards the Wan clan's true emperor. No, the Wn family's true emperor roared madly. At this moment, his eyes were filled with endless fear. In the next moment, the sword light slashed down and landed on the Wan family's true emperor's forehead. His body instantly froze and he didn't move at all. All of his aura had completely disappeared. Even his life force had disappeared. Then, under everyone's horrified gazes, the Wan family's true emperor's body turned into dust with a bang and disappeared from the world. At this moment, the scene fell into a deathly silence. It was as if everyone's throat was being strangled by an invisible hand, and they couldn't make a sound. The Wn clan's true emperor was dead. A true emperor had been killed by a single sword strike, his body completely obliterated. This was a true emperor, standing at the peak of the world. If great emperors didn't appear, who could compete with him? But now, he was killed by a single sword. Lu Ming's eyes widened in shock. Was this Uncle Kong's battle strength? It was far beyond his imagination and unbelievably powerful. He killed a true emperor with a single sword strike. Chapter 1811. Chapter 1811. Killing an emperor with one sword. At this moment, there was no trace of old age left in Uncle Kong. He had completely transformed into an unparalleled peerless swordsman. The true emperor humiliated a junior, so he'll humiliate you too. Uncle Kong shouted, and his eyes were like lightning. He took a step forward, and the heavens and earth shook. Another sword light slashed toward the true emperor of the Sirius Tower. The true emperor from the Heavenly Wolf Tower was horrified. He retreated frantically and used all his power to resist, but it was all in vain. When the sword light slashed past, the true emperor from the Heavenly Wolf Tower followed in the footsteps of the true emperors from the Wan family. His entire body turned into ashes and vanished. Another true emperor had been slain. Run, run, run. At this time, the remaining true emperors of the Golden Crow race, the Purple Extreme Sect, and the Heavenly Bird Palace were almost scared to death. They only had one thought in their minds, and that was to run as far as possible. At this moment, they no longer had any thoughts of killing Lu Ming. They only wanted to save their lives. Uncle Kong's eyes focused. He formed a sword with his finger and slashed at the air. Sila! In front of the three true emperors, a shocking sword light appeared and cut the void in half. The three true emperors stopped in their tracks and looked terrified. If I want to kill you, do you think you can escape? Uncle Kong said coldly. Senior, please spare my life. The Golden Crow race's true emperor cried out. At this moment he no longer had the arrogance he had before. He had become very well behaved, like a big bird that was about to die of illness. This was completely out of fear. The Wn family's true emperors and the Sky Wolf Tower's true emperors were all killed by the old man with a single slash. It wouldn't take much effort for the old man to kill them. In all four directions, everyone else was silent and could only look at Uncle Kong in fear. Killing a true emperor with a single sword strike, what kind of cultivation was this? What realm was this? Could it be the Great Emperor? A Great Emperor was hidden in the Great Yen Elixir Palace? One had to know that there were only a handful of great emperors in the entire Yuan Mountain. Even if he wasn't a great emperor, he must be an extremely terrifying existence among true emperors, many people thought. The other two true emperors also stopped in their tracks and looked at Elder Kong. Even with their cultivation, they were completely unable to see through Elder Kong's cultivation level. Buzz! The long sword returned to its sheath, and the aura on Elder Kong's body started to withdraw once more, and he became like an ordinary old man. Elder Kong's walking stick was a long sword. "Don't worry, I won't kill you." Elder Kong's words caused the three true emperors to relax. "Let me tell you, Lu Ming is already the successor of the Dian Elixir Hall and the current Hall Master of the Dian Elixir Hall." Elder Kong said, "Senior, don't worry. We will not touch a single hair on Lu Ming's head in the future." The true emperor of the Golden Crow race said. Elder Kong nodded, and his gaze swept across the entire scene and the powerhouses of all the forces. His voice resounded from afar. "In the future, I won't interfere in the fights between peers. Even if one of you kills Lu Ming and steals his opportunities, I won't interfere. However, if some of you old guys make a move against a junior, don't blame the old guys for being impolite. When the time comes, I'll make a trip to your sect and stretch my muscles." Many people felt a chill in their hearts. With Elder Kong's battle prowess, if he were to make a trip to any sect, it would be a disaster. Elder Kong could even kill a true emperor with a single sword strike. Although the various major forces had deep foundations and there couldn't possibly be only one true emperor, there might even be stronger existences, but they might not be Elder Kong's match. At that time, not to mention the younger generation, even emperor-level experts would die. This was a threat, a blatant threat. However, the major forces could only accept this threat. This was the power of a terrifying expert. Why did the experts of the Wan family and the Golden Crow clan not dare to kill the geniuses of the younger generation of the Phoenix Palace and the Divine Elephant sect? It was because there were also terrifying experts in the Phoenix Palace and the Divine Elephant sect. If you killed their Heaven's Pride experts, their experts could also kill your Heaven's Pride experts. This was the power of the strong. And why did the Wan family, the Golden Crow clan, and the other forces dare to send out their experts to kill Lu Ming? This was because they knew that Lu Ming did not have any backing. If he was killed, so be it. No expert behind Lu Ming would seek revenge on their juniors. However, now that Lu Ming had it, all the forces had to be wary. "Senior, are you really not going to interfere in a battle between two peers?" The true emperor of the Golden Crow race asked. "I'm a man of my word. If Lu Ming can't win in a battle between peers and is killed, then he's useless. But he'll still say the same thing. If it's your seniors or even emperor-level powerhouses, I won't hold back either. Now all of you can get lost." Elder Kong's eyes flashed with a sharp glint, and then he waved his hand. "Let's go." The Golden Crow race's true emperor let out a loud cry and turned into a ray of golden light, flying away at extreme speed. The other members of the Golden Crow race also left the place one after another. The Purple Extreme sect, Heavenly Bird Palace, and other sects also flickered and left. This time, the Great Yen Elixir Palace's appearance had finally come to an end, but the storm it had set off was far from over. It would shake the entire ancient Moon Holy Land. This time, Lu Ming was the only protagonist. Because of Lu Ming, several major forces had suffered heavy losses. Especially the Skywolf Tower and the Wan family, their losses were even more shocking. The WN clan had lost a true emperor, and the Skywolf Tower had lost a void emperor and a true emperor. Even a powerful force like the ancient Moon Holy Land could not bear such a loss. Anyone who could become a monarch was a peerless genius. The heavenly spiritual body was said to have the potential to become an emperor, but that was all. It was still very difficult to become an emperor. Moreover, he was a true emperor. And NBSP Ancient Moon Holy Land was a huge force, and they definitely had true emperors, and more than one at that. But those were accumulated over the long years, and there definitely wouldn't be too many. Losing one would have a huge impact on their strength. Not long after, almost all the forces had left, leaving only Phoenix Palace, Divine Elephant Sect, and a few other forces behind. "Lu Ming, are you all right?" Huang Ling walked towards the Furnace Mountain and came to Lu Ming's side. "I'm fine, don't worry." Lu Ming smiled, but his face was a little pale. His body trembled slightly and he almost lost his balance. Previously, he had been attacked by the Wan family's true emperors and was already severely injured. "Huang Ling, let's let Lu Ming recuperate first. We'll visit him another day." Long Chen also walked over and said, "All right, Lu Ming. You should recuperate first. "Well, come and visit you another day," said Huang Ling. Then she left with Long Chin, Phoenix Palace, and Divine Elephant Sect. "Uncle Kong, many thanks." Lu Ming cupped his fists at Uncle Kong. "Palace Master, protecting you is this old servant's duty. However, there are countless experts in the world. These forces in ancient Moon Holy Land are not as simple as they look on the surface. Their foundations are very deep, and they all have terrifying existences guarding them. As for the other Holy Lands, they also have many experts. The road ahead will be even longer, and the Hall Master will have to walk it on his own. This old servant will not interfere in the competition between the younger generation. The Hall Master will have to face it himself," Uncle Kong said. Chapter 1812. Chapter 1812. Superior Grade Heavenly Spiritual Body, this is what I should do. Lu Ming nodded. He also knew that Uncle Kong was doing this for his own good. A powerful person had to fight and kill to become one. He had to go through all kinds of difficulties and dangers. The flowers in the greenhouse could not stand the test. If he needed Uncle Kong to help him everywhere, how could he reach the peak? "Hall Master, let's go back and recuperate." Uncle Kong nodded and walked back to the mountain of the pill furnace step by step. Soon after, Lu Ming also returned to the mountain of the pill furnace. He swallowed a pill and began to heal his injuries. This time, Lu Ming was severely injured. It took him 7 days to fully recover. A few days later, Huang Ling, Long Chin, Mu Qingxue, and the others came to visit him. Seeing that Lu Ming was fine, they were relieved. Lu Ming took them around the Dian Elixir Hall. However, Phoenix and the others did not stay for long. They returned to their respective sections. Now, the day of the opening of the Yuan Mountains Sacred Academy in Heavenly Emperor City was getting closer and closer. Everyone had to seize the time to cultivate and improve their cultivation so that they could enter the Yuan Mountains Sacred Academy smoothly and receive the guidance of the Great Emperor. Lu Ming passed on the divine breath technique to Huang Ling and the rest. It was a life-saving secret technique and would be of great use at critical moments. After Huang Ling and the rest left, Lu Ming began his closed-door cultivation. Can the alchemy fire of the Dian Elixir Furnace really temper and evolve the spirit body? With a single thought, the Dian Elixir Furnace flew out and landed on the ground. It then transformed into the size of a house. During this period of time, Elder Kong had told Lu Ming about some of the Great Yen Elixir Furnace's wonderful uses. The Dian Elixir Furnace seized the good fortune of heaven and earth. It could be used to refine elixirs using the laws of heaven and earth, and it could also refine elixirs that could evolve the spirit body. This was just a rumor, but in fact, the Dian Elixir Furnace was even more mysterious than the rumors. It could directly temper a person's physical body and allow the spirit body to evolve. Till try. With a wave of his hand, a large number of sacred elixirs flew out of his storage ring and into the Dian Elixir Furnace. Then, Lu Ming moved and rushed into the furnace as well, closing the lid. Refine. With a single thought, a large amount of alchemy fire spewed out of the Dian Elixir Furnace and enveloped Lu Ming. This kind of alchemy fire was extremely terrifying. The Emperor-level powerhouses of the Sirius Tower had been refined by this alchemy fire. Alchemy fire had the power to destroy, but it also had an unparalleled vitality. It was completely controlled by the user's will. The pill fire gushed out, and the saint herbs were instantly refined and turned into waves of energy. Lu Ming's physical body was enveloped by the alchemic fire and a piercing pain spread throughout his body. How terrifying! Lu Ming tried his best to resist, but the pill fire covered his body and burned fiercely as if it was going to melt his body. Zzzzzzz. Lu Ming's body was being roasted by the pill fire, emitting sizzling sounds. He felt as if his body was about to melt. It hurt. It was extremely painful. A heart-piercing pain. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and endured it. He persevered. He knew that it was not easy for a spirit body to evolve. If he wanted to buy real dragon bones and real dragon blood essence, he would need a lot of raw gemstones. But now, there was a shortcut, so why not take it? Lu Ming gritted his teeth and persevered. After a while, the energy from the sacred herbs in the alchemy furnace began to gather towards Lu Ming. As the alchemy fire refined them, they continuously seeped into his body. Lu Ming could feel that his spirit body was slowly becoming stronger. He cultivated for 7 days. When Lu Ming felt that he had reached his limit, he exited the furnace. After a day of rest, he put in some sacred herbs and continued to smelt them. This method was similar to refining pills. However, he was using himself as a pill and the saint herbs as supplementary ingredients. He was constantly smelting and removing the impurities in the spirit body. The energy of the saint herbs was integrated into the spirit body, constantly increasing the potential of the spirit body. When the time came, the potential of the spirit body would explode and transform. Such an effect was heaven-defying. To Lu Ming, it might not be a big deal. He cultivated the dragon god combat body. As long as he had true dragon bones and true dragon blood essence, he would evolve sooner or later. But what about ordinary martial artists? How heaven-defying was this effect? In other words, no matter what level the spirit body was, as long as one continued to condense it, the spirit body would continue to evolve. Of course, there were some restrictions. There would be some differences according to the individual's potential. Some people could continue to evolve, but some people had limited potential. Even with the Dian elixir furnace, they wouldn't evolve much and would have a limit. However, this was already heaven-defying enough. Therefore, Elder Kong warned that this ability should not be revealed unless one was extremely close to the Great Yen Cauldron. This was because the outside world only thought that the Great Yen Cauldron could refine medicinal pills that could allow one's spirit body to evolve, but they didn't know that it had this ability. To concoct a pill, one needed materials. Without materials, one would not be able to concoct it. However, this function didn't require any specific ingredients at all. Any saint medicine could be added in. If a major power obtained this, how many geniuses could it nurture? At that time, even with Elder Kong standing guard, it would still be hard to avoid some major powers taking the risk out of desperation. 7 days passed, and in the blink of an eye, a month had passed. Lu Ming had been cultivating in the Dian elixir furnace. Bubbles, on the other hand, had nothing to do and would run out every day. Lu Ming did not bother with it. With Bubbles' current cultivation base and the space-time laws, she should be fine as long as she did not encounter any monarch-level experts. As expected, Baoba came back every few days with a medicinal fragrance all over his body. He even gave Lu Ming many sacred elixirs. These saint herbs had strong medicinal power and were all very old. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Bubbles must have gone to some big force to steal medicine. A dragon's roar came from the Dian elixir furnace. In the sky above the elixir furnace, the shadow of 9 dragons danced and circled. It roared at the sky as if the 9 dragons had been reborn. Clang! The lid of the furnace opened, and Lu Ming's figure flew out. 9 dragons circled his body, and every inch of his skin glowed with a crystal-like luster. Under the luster, it seemed to be filled with infinite power. A superior-grade heavenly spiritual body. Lu Ming muttered, his eyes bright. After a month of continuous tempering, his spiritual body had finally evolved into a superior-grade celestial spiritual body. This was already the highest level of a spirit body. His strength had reached an astonishing level. Although his cultivation hadn't changed in the past month, which was still at the minor mastery supreme saint realm, his combat strength had increased by a lot. With my current combat strength, who can be my match in a battle of the same level? The child of God is known to be invincible among those of the same level. If there's a chance, I must see it. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a strong fighting spirit. Then he stepped out of the mountain of pill furnaces and rushed into the sky. Boom! Lu Ming threw a punch and the clouds were pierced through, revealing a passage that was thousands of miles long. Boom! 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 Following that, Lu Ming's fists continued to swing. The terrifying fist force swept across and the void boiled. All the air was compressed and exploded, turning into destructive power. Lu Ming seemed to have unlimited energy. He only stopped after half an hour. Chapter 1813. Chapter 1813. Chapter 1813 Killing Feng Ling. Cool. Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief, feeling refreshed. At this moment, Lu Ming looked out of the mountain of alchemy furnaces. There, a figure was flashing over at top speed. Wherever the figure passed, the space rippled like water. It was as if the figure was traveling through space. Bubble, where did you go to steal the sacred medicine again? Lu Ming smiled and looked at the little girl who appeared in front of him. Brother Lu Ming, bad news? Sister Huang Ling is in danger, said Pow Pow, her large eyes revealing a trace of anxiety. What's going on? Lu Ming's expression changed. Instantly, Pow Pow started chattering away. It turned out that Bubbles had sneaked into the Wan family's sacred medicine plantation to eat the sacred medicine and had accidentally heard a secret. The number one genius of the Wan family, Wan Zhengong, had found out about Huang Ling's current cultivation place. He was going to join forces with a group of strong cultivators to kill her in secret. The Wn family again. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. He knew that the Wan family was taking revenge. Huang Ling and Lu Ming were very close. Some people even said that Huang Ling was Lu Ming's woman. Therefore, they wanted to kill Huang Ling to take revenge on Lu Ming. Bubbles, do you know where Phoenix Spirit is cultivating? Lu Ming asked. I heard from the Wan family that it's in the 10,000 Flame Mountain. How was it? Where is the 10,000 Flame Mountain? Let's not waste any time. We'll go and find out immediately. Let's go. Lu Ming took a step forward, turned into a stream of light, and flew away. Not long after, Lu Ming and Bubbles came to a gathering place. After inquiring about the location of the 1,000 Flame Mountain, they hurried there. Myriad Flame Mountain was a mountain range filled with flames. It was the favorite place of those who cultivated fire-attributed laws. It was more effective to comprehend the laws of fire here than anywhere else. Huang Ling cultivated the law of the unperishable flame, and she often came to the Myriad Flame Mountain to cultivate. In a valley on the Myriad Flame Mountain, flames were burning fiercely. Bai Lin sat cross-legged in the valley. Around her, an undying celestial phoenix was dancing. The surrounding flames were constantly gathering. Suddenly, Huang Ling opened her eyes and looked at the entrance of the valley. She shouted, "Who is it?" as expected of the undying heavenly phoenix body. Your spiritual sense is quite sharp. A cold sneer was heard. Then, 5 figures appeared at the entrance of the valley. Wan Jingyang, he shouted. Huang Ling's face darkened. The person in the lead was the number 1 prodigy of the Wan clan, Wan Zheng. Behind him, the other 4 people were all experts. They were all great saints at the peak or great saint perfection. These people were almost 50 years old and were at the edge of the younger generation. This is my cultivation ground. What are you doing here? Huang Ling said in a deep voice. What are you doing? Wan Zhengyang's eyes flickered with cold killing intent. I'm here to kill you, of course. Lu Ming, that bastard, caused the Wan family to lose a true emperor. This enmity is irreconcilable. However, he's hiding in the Dian Elixir Palace and doesn't dare to come out. He'll kill you first. As Lu Ming's woman, I'm afraid his heart will ache if you die. Ha! Huang Ling's face turned red. It seemed that the outside world had misunderstood and thought that she was Lu Ming's woman. However, she did not refute him. A powerful aura emanated from her body as she said, "It's not that easy to kill me with just you guys. So you've broken through to the great sage realm. But you still have to die." Wan Jingyang sneered, and a terrifying aura burst out of his body. Great sage, great perfection. Huang Ling's expression changed. Wan Zhengyang's cultivation was at the peak of the Supreme Saint realm. He did not expect that he had already broken through to the perfected Supreme Saint realm. If Wan Zhengyang's cultivation was still at the peak of the Supreme Saint realm, Huang Ling could still fight him with the help of the law of unperishable flame. However, Wan Jingyang had broken through to the great perfection of the Supreme Saint realm, and with the other 4 masters, Huang Ling was not confident. Buzz! Without any hesitation, the phoenix shadow around her fanned and her figure soared into the sky. A wolf's howl resounded in the sky as a huge wolf claw clawed at Huang Ling. Phoenix wing strike. Huang Ling's expression changed. She raised her palm and a phoenix wing formed. Like a divine blade, it slashed at the wolf's claw. Bang! Huang Ling's body trembled as she was knocked down by a powerful force and returned to the valley. In the sky, several wolf howls sounded, and a few giant wolves appeared. Sky Wolf Tower. Huang Ling's expression darkened. A few giant wolves glanced at Feng Ling with cold eyes. You've joined forces to kill me. If the Phoenix Palace finds out, we won't let you off easily. Are you going to start a war between the major forces? Huang Ling shouted. So what if you know? We've only sent out the younger generation, not the older generation. Wan Jingyang sneered. The people who followed them were all around 50 years old and could be considered to be from the younger generation. Indeed, they did not send anyone from the older generation. As for the younger generation's competition, whether it was a one-on-one fight or being surrounded, there were no restrictions. Moreover, as long as you die, no one will know that we did it. Kill, die. Wan Jingyang shouted. All the acupoints in his body glowed, and saint weapons flew out. He held an absolute saint weapon and charged at Huang Ling, 9 phoenix strikes. Huang Ling's arms trembled like phoenix wings. She made 9 moves in a row, and phoenixes appeared one after another. They tore through the void and charged toward Wan Jingyang. Wan Jingyang wielded his absolute saint weapon and continued to attack, clashing with the phoenix spirit. After 9 consecutive booms, Huang Ling's body trembled and she retreated. After all, Wan Jingyang was the #1 genius of the Wan family. His cultivation had reached the great perfection of the Supreme Saint realm, and his spiritual body was a medium-grade heaven spiritual body. His combat power was very shocking. Although Huang Ling had mastered the laws of the King Path, she was still no match for him when her cultivation was so far behind. The laws of the King Path are indeed powerful. However, you still have to die. Kill that. Wan Jingyang shouted and charged at Huang Ling again. The undying cage, fire cage. Huang Ling shouted, and the flames in the area gathered towards her, forming a cage of flames that trapped Wan Jingyang. Boom, boom. Wan Jingyang kept attacking the fire cage, but he couldn't break it. At the same time, Huang Ling charged towards the entrance of the valley. Let's attack together, don't let her escape. Wan Jingyang roared. The experts from the Wan family who came with Wan Jingyang attacked together. Terrifying attacks were launched at Huang Ling. At the same time, a few giant wolves in the sky roared and pounced at Huang Ling, 9 phoenix strikes. The phoenix spirit let out a long cry, and her arms trembled. She continuously struck out with terrifying offensive power, and 9 phoenixes pounced out. One of the 4 experts from the Wan family was at the peak of the Great Saint Realm. He was killed by the 2 phoenixes and turned into ashes in the flames. The other people's figures also trembled and retreated. Huang Ling seized the opportunity and rushed towards the entrance of the valley. Chapter 1814. Chapter 1814. Danger to the Phoenix Spirit. After forcing back a few of the Wan family's experts, Huang Ling rushed towards the entrance of the valley. She was about to rush out of the valley. Get back! At the entrance of the valley, a sword light burst forth, and a terrifying sword light tore towards Huang Ling. The power of this sword light was extremely terrifying. Huang Ling's expression changed. At the critical moment, a sword of fire appeared in her hand and she blocked in front of her. Bang! A terrifying collision rang out and flames shot out in all directions. Huang Ling's figure retreated rapidly and she only managed to stabilize herself after retreating more than 10 steps. At the entrance of the valley, a few figures appeared, their demonic chi soaring to the sky. Falcon, it's you! Huang Ling's heart sank. Several figures appeared at the entrance of the valley. They were experts of the Celestial Bird Palace, and the leader was the strongest genius of the younger generation of the Celestial Bird Palace, Falcon. Huang Ling, to be honest, it's a pity for such a beautiful woman like you to die like this. Falcon was the first to step over. His eyes were as sharp as knives as he looked at Huang Ling with a burning gaze. His eyes kept scanning her body. Bang! Behind him, the fire cage exploded. Wan Jingyang rushed out of the fire cage, and his cold, killing intent burst out, pressing toward Huang Ling. In the sky, A few giant wolves from the Skywolf Tower blocked their way. Huang Ling was in a desperate situation. Everyone, it would be a pity to kill this woman directly. Why don't you cripple her first and let me bring her back to play with her? Falcon licked his lips and kept glancing at Huang Ling's body. His eyes were burning with passion. Falcon, if you want to play, one have an idea. Wan Zhengyang rolled his eyes as if he was brewing a vicious plan. Bring the phoenix spirit and play outside the Cauldron Mountain. Lure Lu Ming out and we'll set up an ambush to kill him in one fell swoop. As long as we send out the younger generation, the experts from the Dian Elixir Palace will not say anything. Lu Ming's death will be in vain. Ha! Wan Zhengyang then laughed smugly. That's a good idea. However, if the people in Phoenix Palace knew about this, they would probably go crazy. Falcon's eyes turned, as if he was thinking about whether this idea was feasible. Well, just think of a way to hide it from those people in Phoenix Palace. Falcon, are you so timid that you don't even dare to do this? Wan Zhengyang sneered. Who says I don't dare? The flames in Falcon's eyes grew even more intense. Despicable. Don't even think about getting your way. Huang Ling let out a long cry, and her entire body was about to turn into flames. Endless flames gathered towards her, and she turned into a flaming phoenix, charging up into the sky. Get down! Above her, a few giant wolves attacked at the same time, charging towards Feng Ling. A series of collisions rang out. Huang Ling was alone and her cultivation was at a disadvantage. In the end, she did not manage to rush out and was blasted down. Kill! Saint weapons flew out from Wan Zhengyang's body, and their battle weapon Qi soared to the sky as they charged toward Huang Ling. At the same time, Falcon and the others also charged toward her. Huang Ling tried her best to fight against the crowd, but after a few moves, her body flew far away. She spat out a few mouthfuls of blood and her face was pale. However, her body was still covered in flames. She rushed to the side, trying to get out. The undying celestial phoenix body, the law of undying fire, and your vitality is indeed amazing. But today, your fate is already decided. Accept your fate, Wan Zhengyang said coldly. He took a step forward, and more than 200 saint weapons tore through the void, making a terrible whistling sound, and charged toward Huang Ling. Falcon and the others also took action at the same time. Wan Zhengyang or Falcon alone were more powerful than Huang Ling, not to mention so many experts attacking at the same time. Huang Ling was no match for them at all. After a few moves, she was sent flying again and spat out blood. If it were not for her physique, the extremely mysterious law of the imperishable flame, and her astonishing vitality, she would have been killed by now. But even so, Huang Ling was still severely injured. Buzz! And NBSP whoosh! Wan Zhengyang, Falcon, and experts from the Sirius Tower, a total of more than 10 people, surrounded Feng Ling. Huang Ling had no way to retreat. Everyone, let's cripple her. Such a beautiful woman must taste good. The evil in Falcon's eyes became even more intense. Huang Ling's heart sank. Then, a hint of ruthlessness flashed in her eyes. She would rather die than fall into Falcon's hands and be used by the other party to threaten Lu Ming. Boom! The flames on her body went berserk and were extremely violent. She wants to self-destruct, stop her, die. Wan Zhengyang shouted. More than 200 saint weapons gathered and formed a terrifying suppressive force. It pressed down on Huang Ling, trying to stop her from self-destructing. Don't even think about it. The eagle roared and turned into a huge black eagle. With a flap of its wings, it was as big as a mountain and it charged towards Huang Ling. Boom! Boom! The terrifying power shook, and the flames that Huang Ling had burst out were extinguished. Her body was sent flying, and she spat out another mouthful of blood. Her face was extremely pale. Her face was filled with despair. There were too many of them, and she couldn't even self-destruct. You want to self-destruct? Dream on! Falcon shouted coldly as he pounced towards Huang Ling, wanting to cripple her cultivation. Huang Ling's injuries worsened and it was difficult for her to dodge. Just as the Falcon's attack was about to hit Huang Ling's body, the air around her started to ripple like water. Then, Huang Ling's body disappeared like an illusion. Boom! The Falcon's attack landed on the ground, causing a huge boom and a huge pit to appear. Who is it? The eagle's eyes were as sharp as blades. He shouted and scanned the surroundings. Finally, he stopped in the sky above the valley. There, a black-robed young man stood in the air, exuding a terrifying killing intent. A 2- or 3-year-old girl sat on his back, also staring at Wang Xingyang and the others with an unfriendly expression. Of course, the two people were Lu Ming and Bubbles. Lu Ming, what are you doing here? Huang Ling stood beside Lu Ming, looking surprised. Earlier on, it was Bubbles who had saved Feng Ling at the critical moment. I only rushed here because I accidentally heard that Wang Xingyang and the others were going to attack you. It seems like I'm still a little late. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. Why is he here? When Wang Xingyang and the rest saw Lu Ming, their expressions changed drastically and they even took a step back. Lu Ming's fearsome reputation was too great. A month ago, when all living beings refined a demon the Arch, it was truly terrifying. What are you afraid of? This isn't the Great Yen Elixir Palace, so he can't control the Great Yen Elixir formation. He's just an ordinary Saint Realm expert. Wang Xingyang shouted, stabilizing the morale of the army. That's right. He's here just in time. We can kill him here and save ourselves some effort. Falcon also said. That's right, we can kill him and avenge the demon god. The killing intent of the giant wolves from the Skywolf Tower grew stronger. That was right. This was not the Great Yen Elixir Palace. Lu Ming could not control the Great Yen Elixir formation. What did they have to fear? It was a good time to kill Lu Ming and get rid of future trouble. Chapter 1815. Chapter 1815. You all have to die, Huang Ling, you're injured. Let's go into the mountain and river diagram to heal. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Huang Ling. Lu Ming, you're alone. You can't fight them head-on, said Huang Ling worriedly. She was afraid that Lu Ming would go against Wang Xingyang and the rest by himself. Don't worry. If I can't defeat them, he'll have no worries about retreating with Bubbles around. Lu Ming nodded. Huang Ling was relieved and entered the mountain and river diagram. Today, all of you will die. Lu Ming exuded a terrifying killing intent. His cold eyes swept over Wang Xingyang, Falcon, and the rest. Hee, do you think this is the Great Yen Elixir Palace? You're the one who's going to die, kill. The falcon let out a long cry and flapped its wings, pouncing towards Lu Ming. Its wings were like blades as it whizzed out, slashing at Lu Ming. Falcon, the #1 genius of the Celestial Bird Palace, was a great saint in the Great Circle. His attack was terrifying. If Lu Ming's spirit body hadn't evolved, he might not have been able to defeat Falcon. But now, Lu Ming was not afraid. The laws of chaos circulated and the prison-suppressing heavenly art burst forth. With a palm strike, a phantom of the prison-suppressing steel appeared in Lu Ming's hand. Lu Ming seemed to be carrying the prison-suppressing steel as he charged at the falcon. Boom! Lu Ming's palm collided with the falcon's wings. The falcon's body shook violently and it retreated rapidly, its feathers flying in the air. His eyes were filled with extreme shock at Lu Ming's power. From the attack just now, he felt a terrifying power surging from Lu Ming's palm as if he wanted to suppress him. Lu Ming's cultivation base was only at the Great Sage Initial Mastery. How could he have such terrifying power? He was standing in the Great Sage Accomplished Realm, while Lu Ming was only in the Great Sage Minor Mastery. He had just entered the Great Sage Realm. There was such a huge difference in cultivation. In a head-on collision, he was actually no match for him. It was simply unbelievable. Bang! Lu Ming stepped on the void and charged towards the falcon. Let's attack together. Falcon roared. At once, the wolf howled and the wings flapped in the air. The experts from the Sirius Tower and the Celestial Bird Palace all charged at Lu Ming. At the same time, Wang Xingyang led the Wan family's experts at Lu Ming. Bubbles, you block the people from the Wan family first. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Bubbles. Leave it to me, let's go. Bubbles flew out and waved her hand. Space rippled like water, blocking the path of Wang Xingyang and the others. At the same time, a terrifying power of time and space surged towards them. Wang Xingyang and the others could only resist with all their might. As for Lu Ming, an absolute holy weapon combat sword appeared in his hand. He rushed forward and slashed with the combat sword. A terrifying power poured into the sword, making it have the power to split a mountain. It slashed at a giant wolf. The giant wolf howled and exploded with all its might. Divine light emanated from its body as it charged at Lu Ming. This giant wolf was also a Heaven's Pride expert of the Skywolf Tower. Although he wasn't the #1 Heaven's Pride expert of the Skywolf Tower, he was still one of the top few. He was very powerful. However, he could not block Lu Ming's sword at this moment. The sword slashed down, breaking his attack and slashing down at his head. No, the giant wolf howled, and the next moment, the sword slashed down. Blood gushed out, and the giant wolf was cut in half. Following that, Lu Ming swung his battle sword horizontally. A powerful bird was killed in one stroke, its feathers flying in the air. How can he be so strong? The others trembled in their hearts. Lu Ming's realm was only Great Sage Minor Mastery, but his combat strength was terrifying. This time, the weakest of the three major forces was at the peak of Great Sage, but they could not block Lu Ming's sword. Kill! Lu Ming shouted and continued to use the Divine Sword technique. At the same time, he stepped into the air and activated the Array Dao Law. Dense runes appeared out of thin air and covered the remaining experts. Lu Ming's sword aura was like a rainbow, slashing continuously. 2 more experts were killed and blood stained the sky. Buzz! The sound of something breaking through the air could be heard. The falcon had found an opportunity to launch a sneak attack. Its terrifying sharp claws swiped at Lu Ming. A layer of black light covered the sharp claws. Clang! Lu Ming swung his sword and it hit the sharp claw. The sword hummed and the eagle was sent flying again. Blood seeped out of the eagle's claws. Chaos Finger! Lu Ming pointed his fingers several times in succession. A few huge fingers were pointed at Falcon and the remaining experts. During this period of time, Lu Ming's mastery of the chaotic finger of tribulation had steadily increased. It had already reached 55%. The power of the chaotic tribulation finger at 55% was terrifying. It was comparable to 75% of a supernormal technique. Only absolute saints could reach this realm. And NBSP, the primal chaos tribulation finger, crushed down. Apart from Falcon, all the other experts were instantly killed, their bodies exploding under the primal chaos tribulation finger. The falcon also spat out a large mouthful of blood, its feathers flying in the air. Buzz! Lu Ming put away his combat sword and stepped forward. Like a fleeting shadow, he appeared in front of the falcon in an instant and struck down with his palm. The falcon let out a long cry and fought back with all its might. Thump! Boom! The two of them continued to collide with each other and exchanged more than a dozen moves in an instant. After each collision, Falcon retreated frantically. Although Lu Ming's cultivation was far behind Falcon's, Lu Ming's current spirit body had already reached the peak of a superior grade heavenly spirit body. Moreover, Lu Ming's spirit body had also refined a wisp of chaotic qi. The strength of his spirit body was far above that of a superior grade heavenly spirit body. At the same time, Lu Ming cultivated the laws of chaos, one of the 10 most powerful laws in the world, the Emperor of Thousands of Laws. Moreover, Lu Ming had 2 saint hearts. The cultivation of his saint energy could not be measured with common sense. Although Lu Ming's cultivation was at the great saint lower tier, the strength of his saint energy would not be weaker than that of the great saint upper tier because he had 2 saint hearts. With so many factors added together, Lu Ming was able to cross such a huge distance and overpower the falcon. This falcon was a top genius. If he was an ordinary person, even an absolute saint, Lu Ming would be able to fight him. Bang! After more than a dozen collisions, the falcon crashed into the wall of the valley. Flames flew, gravel flew, and feathers flew. The falcon coughed up blood. Wanjiang, come and help me! Falcon roared. His heart was trembling as he felt a fatal crisis. But at this moment, Wan Zhengyang's face was also pale from fear. Lu Ming's combat strength was too terrifying. Ordinary great saints were as vulnerable as babies in Lu Ming's hands. Even the falcon was no match for Lu Ming. Lu Ming's combat strength had far exceeded his expectations. At that moment, he would not help the falcon. He only wanted to escape. Explode! A crazed look flashed across Wan Zhengyang's face as he self-destructed an absolute saint weapon. The terrifying power destroyed the spatial defense that Bubbles had set up, and he and a few experts of the Wan family broke through Bubbles' defense. However, they didn't go to help the falcon. Instead, they soared into the sky and fled into the distance. Falcon, you block them first. They'll find an expert to save you. Wan Zhengyang's voice came from afar. Damn it! Falcon roared, revealing a look of despair. It seems that no one will come to save you. Die seal. Lu Ming sneered. He clenched his fist in the air and dense runes emerged from the falcon's body. They formed a terrifying sealing force that was about to seal the falcon. Chapter 1816. Chapter 1816. You dare to touch me? During the collision with the falcon just now, Lu Ming had secretly cast the volume of seal. At this time, the power was so shocking that the falcon could not even circulate his cultivation. No, Lu Ming, you can't kill me, Falcon shouted in horror. Ridiculous, kill. One Lu Ming pointed his finger and the chaos finger of tribulation was formed, crushing Falcon. Falcon had been scaled and could not exert much of his strength. It was impossible for him to resist. He was crushed by the finger of chaotic tribulation and slammed heavily into the wall of the valley. The wall exploded continuously. In the end, Lu Ming blasted another valley out. Falcon had been torn into pieces and his soul had been destroyed. He had never thought that the #1 genius of the Tianqin Palace would die here. He had been invited by Wan Zhengyang to kill the phoenix spirit, and he agreed without hesitation. He had been coveting the phoenix spirit for a long time. He had thought that with his cultivation, together with Wan Zhengyang and the others, it would be a piece of cake to deal with Feng Ling. He had never expected to run into Lu Ming here. Furthermore, Lu Ming's combat strength had reached a terrifying level that he could actually kill him. Wan Zhengyang, you can't escape. Lu Ming's gaze was extremely cold as he looked in the direction Wan Zhengyang had fled. Brother Lu Ming, leave it to me. The bubble appeared on Lu Ming's shoulder. It controlled the space-time law and enveloped Lu Ming's entire body. Buzz. Lu Ming's body moved and he disappeared from his original spot. He chased after Wan Zhengyang at a terrifying speed. Wherever Lu Ming passed, the space would ripple. It was as if Lu Ming was traveling through the void at an extremely fast speed. Not long after, he saw a few figures flying at high speed ahead. However, they did not see Wan Zhengyang. It was obvious that Wan Zhengyang was the fastest and had already left the others behind. Seeing that Lu Ming was chasing after them, they were scared out of their wits. Seeing that they could not escape, they gritted their teeth and attacked Lu Ming, wanting to fight to the death. However, the result was already set in stone. Lu Ming went on a killing spree and killed all of them in a few moves. Brother Lu Ming, it's in that direction. Bubbles pointed to the right. Bubbles could sense the situation far away through space. As long as they were not too far away, Wan Zhengyang would not be able to escape. Lu Ming moved and flew to the right. There's a mine of the Wan family not far ahead. There are Emperor-ranked experts guarding it. As long as I escape there, it'll be fine. I hope those trash can hold on for a while longer. Let's go. Wan Zhengyang increased his speed to the maximum and flew toward a mountain range. The WN family needed too many weapons to cultivate the 10,000 soldier scroll. Therefore, the Wan family would do everything they could to obtain weapons. For example, he had set up the 10,000 spirit exchange and various chamber of commerces. He traveled around the world mainly to earn ori rocks and buy all sorts of weapons. He would also open up all kinds of mines and make all kinds of weapons. In the ancient Moon Holy Land, the Wan family had many mines. Near the 10,000 Flame Mountain, there was a large mine that unearthed precious forging materials, and there were emperor-level figures guarding it. Wan Zhengyang was going to the mine to seek shelter. Not long after, a large mine appeared in front of them. Wan Zhengyang's eyes lit up. Lu Ming, I will kill you one day. Wan Zhengyang's eyes glowed with malice. However, at this moment, his expression changed. A terrifying fluctuation came from behind him. A figure was chasing after him at an incredible speed. Lu Ming, why are you so fast? Run, run, run. Wan Jingyang was almost scared to death. Lu Ming's pursuit meant that the falcon was in grave danger. Naturally, he was afraid. He burst out with all his strength and flew toward the large mine with all his might. He was getting closer and closer to the mine, but Lu Ming's figure was also rapidly approaching. He was not far away. "Save me, forefather, save me!" Wan Jingyang roared madly. His voice was pushed by the saint power, and it was much faster than his flying speed. It traveled far and wide. In the mine, many mining and smelting workers raised their heads and looked at Wan Jingyang. That's Wan Jingyang, the #1 heaven's favorite of the Wan clan. He's running for his life. Who wants to kill him? Many people speculated as they looked behind Wan Jingyang. "Patriarch, save me! Lu Ming wants to kill me," Wan Jingyang roared again, shocking many people. Lu Ming, it was actually Lu Ming. Lu Ming wanted to kill Wan Jingyang and had even chased him all the way here. Lu Ming's name had spread throughout the entire ancient Moon Holy Land. Many people had not seen Lu Ming before, but they had heard of him. "You can't escape." Lu Ming's eyes were cold as he rapidly approached Wan Jingyang. At this moment, the bubble opened its mouth and a transparent bubble flew out. Then, a transparent bubble suddenly appeared around Wan Zhengyang's body and trapped him. Wan Zhengyang's body stopped moving. Not good. Wan Zhengyang's expression changed. He tried to break through, but he couldn't. Suppress. Lu Ming's glabella glowed, and the Tai Chi formation plate appeared. It expanded rapidly and pressed down on Wan Jingyang. Wan Zhengyang's body trembled as he was continuously suppressed by the laws of space and time and the Tai Chi formation disc. He was almost unable to move. Boom. At this moment, a shocking aura burst out from the Wan family's mine. A beam of light shot into the sky, and a terrifying pressure filled the air, causing everyone's expression to change. That was Emperor pressure. A figure appeared in the light, and a rumbling voice came from all directions. "Lu Ming, how dare you kill the Wan clan's prodigy? Emperor-level great ancestor? Ha! It's an emperor-level great ancestor." Wan Jingyang was overjoyed. A monarch-level expert had appeared. His life could be considered saved. But the next moment, his pupils rapidly contracted. This was because Lu Ming did not stop at all. He appeared next to him and threw a punch. A storm-like force surged toward Wan Jingyang. Under the double suppression of the bubbles and the Tai Chi disc array, Wan Jingyang could hardly resist. The terrifying power entered Wan Zhengyang's body, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. His bones and armor were all shattered, and even his saint heart in his dantian was cracked. Wan Jingyang was severely injured, and his aura was weak. Lu Ming grabbed Wan Zhengyang's neck and stood proudly in the void. There was a flash of light, and in the next moment, an old man appeared in front of Lu Ming. His aura was earth-shattering, as if he was a king who ruled the world. This was a monarch-level expert from the Wan clan. "Forefather, save me!" Wan Jingyang roared. "Lu Ming, let Jingyang go. Otherwise, it'll make you face a life-and-death situation." The emperor-level expert from the Wan clan coldly spoke. Lu Ming was simply too bold. He had appeared just now and Lu Ming still dared to attack Wan Jingyang and severely injure him. "You're making me face a life-and-death dilemma? Hee hee." Lu Ming sneered and looked at the emperor-level powerhouse of the Wan family in disdain. "You dare to touch me?" These words caused the Wan clan's emperor-level expert's face to change. Chapter 1817. Chapter 1817. Chapter 1817. Killing Wan Jingyang. A month ago, in the Great Yen Elixir Palace, an old man from the Great Yen Elixir Palace had killed 2 true emperors in a row, shaking the entire ancient Moon Holy Land. The old man had once said that he would not care about the outcome of a fight between his peers. However, if it was someone from the older generation, especially an emperor-level powerhouse, who made a move on Lu Ming, he would have to make a trip to that force. His words sent a chill down all the force's spines. With the old man's combat power, if he really went to the mountain gate of any force and started a massacre, the consequences would be unimaginable. Therefore, the emperor-level experts of the Wan clan did not dare to attack Lu Ming unless Lu Ming was seeking his own death by attacking the emperor-level experts. Lu Ming's words made Wan Zhengyang's heart turn cold. Could it be that Lu Ming wanted to kill him in front of the emperor-level experts of the Wan family? At the thought of this, he was extremely terrified and cried out mournfully, "Forefather, save me, save me." Lu Ming, it's easy to break if you're too hard. Although you're talented, the senior from the Dian Elixir Palace can't protect you forever. You'd better leave some room for improvement. The emperor-level expert from the Wan clan coldly spoke. Leave a lifeline? Ha, what a joke, leaving you guys a chance to kill me? Lu Ming laughed out loud, full of disdain. It was impossible for Lu Ming to reconcile with the Wan family, the Sirius Tower, and other forces. It was either one of them died or the other party died. Would the other party let Lu Ming off if he showed mercy? Since that was the case, why should he leave a way out? Wan Zhengyang's life is mine. What can you do about it? He said. Lu Ming spoke, his cold killing intent undisguisable. No, no. Wan Zhengyang's liver and guts were torn apart as he struggled madly. Kill, die. Lu Ming bellowed. A terrifying force gushed out like a storm, blasting into Wan Zhengyang's body. Wan Zhengyang let out an unwilling scream. Then, his body exploded with a bang, and his body and spirit were destroyed. Everyone in the mine looked at this scene in shock. Wan Zhengyang was dead. Lu Ming actually dared to kill Wan Zhengyang in front of the Wan family's emperor-level powerhouses. A cold voice rang out from the Wan clan's emperor-level expert. A terrifying aura burst forth from his body, causing the sky to tremble and the earth to rumble. Lu Ming was pushed back by this aura. However, his eyes were still determined. He looked at the emperor-level powerhouse from the Wan clan fearlessly. The emperor-level expert from the Wan clan was filled with killing intent. He glared at Lu Ming coldly, wishing he could kill Lu Ming with a single slap. But in the end, he didn't dare to make a move. There were many people in this mine from various major forces. If he killed Lu Ming, the news would definitely spread and alert the expert from the Dian Elixir Palace. Then, the Wan family would face a terrible disaster. As for him, he would probably be killed by the experts of the Great Yen Elixir Palace. Therefore, he endured it and slowly restrained his aura. However, his killing intent became stronger and stronger. Lu Ming, although the senior from the Dian Elixir Palace said that he wouldn't interfere in a battle between peers, as your combat strength grows stronger and you continue to provoke our Wan family, it's impossible for our Wan family to not retaliate. Even if the emperor-level figures don't make a move, the people of the Absolute Saint Realm can. Otherwise, you won't be able to survive if we fight to the death. The Wn clan martial sovereign's eyes gleamed with a cold light as he spoke indifferently. Indeed, Lu Ming's combat strength was too strong now. No one in the younger generation of the Wan family could compete with Lu Ming. As time passed, Lu Ming's combat strength would become stronger. According to Elder Kong, Lu Ming could continue to hunt down the people from the Wan family, and the Wan family would not be able to retaliate? How could that be possible? Since Lu Ming's strength had already surpassed that of the younger generation, they could also send people of the older generation to deal with Lu Ming. As long as they did not go too far, such as directly sending an emperor-level expert, they believed that the other party would not say anything. Sure, they'll take all the absolute saints at once. I won't let Uncle Kong find trouble with you. Lu Ming said. As long as the other party's emperor-level powerhouse did not dare to make a move, an absolute saint would only bring pressure and motivation to Lu Ming, making him move faster. With that, Lu Ming turned around and swaggered away. The Wn family's martial emperor's eyes flickered with crazy killing intent, but he did not dare to make a move in the end. He could only watch helplessly as Lu Ming left. Lu Ming's combat strength has already reached this level? To be able to kill Wan Zhengyang, that's truly shocking. Not necessarily. Just now, Lu Ming relied on the little girl's help to render Wan Zhengyang defenseless. The little girl should be a terrifying divine beast, but Lu Ming's combat strength is indeed shocking. Among the younger generation of the ancient Moon Holy Land, Lu Ming is already at the peak. Other than a few monstrous talents, I'm afraid no one is his match. In the mine, many people were discussing. What happened just now would probably spread to the entire ancient Moon Holy Land. Lu Ming made his way to the Phoenix Palace. Not long after, he arrived at the Phoenix Palace and released the Phoenix spirit from the mountain and river diagram. Huang Ling's complexion was much better. After she came out, she immediately looked around. This is the Phoenix Palace. When Huang Ling realized that she was in the Phoenix Palace, she heaved a sigh of relief. Lu Ming, are you all right? Huang Ling looked at Lu Ming and asked with concern. I'm fine. Lu Ming smiled. Wan Zhenong, Falcon, you'll get my revenge sooner or later. Huang Ling gritted her teeth and a cold light flashed through her eyes. I'm afraid you can't get your revenge because they're already dead. Lu Ming smiled faintly. What? They're dead? You killed them? Huang Ling was dumbfounded. Yes, I should say that Bubble and I worked together to kill him. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, did you have a breakthrough in your cultivation? Huang Ling asked again. Wan Xingyang and Falcon had reached the great saint perfection and were extremely powerful. It was beyond her expectations that Lu Ming could kill them. My cultivation hasn't broken through, but my spirit body has evolved. Phoenix spirit, you should recuperate first. When you're better, call Long Chen and find me at the Dian Elixir Palace. They'll show you something good. Lu Ming smiled. No wonder. Huang Ling nodded. Lu Ming's combat strength was already very strong. Now that his spirit body had evolved, his combat strength was even more shocking. With Bubbles, it was possible for him to kill Wan Xingyang and the rest. What good stuff? She was curious about the good stuff that Lu Ming mentioned. Come to the Great Yen Elixir Palace and find me. Lu Ming smiled, turned around, and walked away. After returning to the Great Yen Elixir Palace, Lu Ming went into seclusion to cultivate, comprehending the Finger of Calamity of Chaos and the sealed scroll of the 9 scrolls of the Array Dao. 7 days later, Huang Ling and Long Chen came together. Lu Ming, what's the good thing you said you wanted to show us? Huang Ling blinked her eyes and asked curiously. Lu Ming's glabella glowed and the Dian Elixir furnace flew out. It stood on the ground and said, That's it, the Dian Elixir furnace. The Dian Elixir furnace? The two of them were curious. They had seen it before. The alchemy fire in the Dian Elixir furnace can temper the spirit body and allow the spirit body to evolve. Lu Ming explained the effects of the Dian Elixir furnace. Chapter 1818, Chapter 1818, Ouyang Wushuang. Chapter 1818, Ouyang Wushuang. He had absolute trust in Huang Ling and Long Chen's character. He planned to let Long Chen and Huang Ling enter the Da Yen Elixir furnace to refine and evolve their spirit bodies. Huang Ling and Long Chen both cultivated spiritual bodies related to the top 10 war beasts. If their spiritual flowers evolved and reached the level of upper-class heavenly spiritual bodies, their combat strength would also soar. It can actually temper the spirit body directly and allow the spirit body to evolve? After listening to Lu Ming's explanation, the two of them were dumbfounded. This effect was simply too heaven-defying. Who's going to go in and try? However, the tempering process is extremely painful. If you can't hold on, please remind me. Lu Ming said, The evolution of a spirit body is so heaven-defying that a little pain is nothing. I'll go first. Long Chen stepped forward. Lu Ming opened the lid and let Long Chen in. Then, he put in a large amount of sacred medicine and closed the furnace. Lu Ming took control of the elixir furnace. The elixir fire burned fiercely inside the furnace, enveloping Long Chen and beginning to temper his physical body. Long Chen was also a person with a strong will. How could he give up in such intense pain? He gritted his teeth and endured it. 7 days later, Long Chen reached his limit and came out of the furnace. The effect is indeed amazing. Long Chen sighed. It's my turn. Huang Ling couldn't wait any longer and stepped into the furnace. In the following days, Huang Ling and Long Chen took turns to enter the Dian Elixir furnace to temper their spirit bodies. Lu Ming split some of his attention to pay attention to the elixir furnace, while most of his energy was still on his own cultivation. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed. Long Chen's and Phoenix Spirit's spiritual bodies had finally been tempered to the extreme and had evolved into the ranks of the top-tier celestial spiritual bodies. Their combat strength had increased greatly. With their potential and their own cultivation, they would be able to evolve sooner or later and step into the upper-class celestial spiritual body, but it was unknown how long it would take. Lu Ming, the Phoenix Palace sent me a message earlier. The date of the Heavenly Emperor City's Yuan Mountain Saint Academy's opening ceremony has been set. It will be in half a year. Said Huang Ling. In half a year? Lu Ming muttered. He definitely had to make a trip to the Heavenly Emperor City. The Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy was established by a few great emperors, and there would be great emperors giving Dao lectures. He couldn't miss such a good opportunity. Moreover, the top geniuses of the entire Yuan Mountain would gather at the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. Lu Ming also wanted to go and see for himself. Only by clashing with powerful geniuses could he improve faster. Right now, all the geniuses are cultivating hard and their progress is extremely fast. We should make use of this period of time to raise our cultivation. With our strength, it wouldn't be too difficult for us to occupy a place in the Yuan Mountain's Sacred Academy. Huang Ling said. The few of them chatted for a while more before Feng Ling and Long Chen bade farewell and returned to their respective sects to cultivate. As soon as Feng Ling returned to the Phoenix Palace, someone came to find her. Feng Ling, the Palace Master is looking for you. The messenger reported. Palace Master? Alright, they'll go now. Yes. Huang Ling nodded and walked towards the Palace Master's hall. In the main hall, the Palace Master stood with her hands behind her back, as if she was thinking about something. Huang Ling, Palace Master. May I know why you've summoned me? Huang Ling came to the back of the Phoenix Palace Master and bowed respectfully. The Master of the Phoenix Palace turned around and glanced at Feng Ling. Her eyes lit up in surprise. Feng Ling, your spirit body has evolved? Yes, Palace Master. It has just evolved recently. Huang Ling said. She didn't say that it was because of the Dian elixir furnace that she evolved. The Dian elixir furnace's effects were too heaven-defying. Lu Ming told them this because he trusted them. Naturally, they would not tell anyone about it, even if it was the person they were closest to or the Palace Master of Phoenix Palace. Alright, I have a matter here. I was originally considering whether to let you go or not. But now that your spirit body has evolved and your combat strength has increased greatly, it's a good time for you to go and gain experience. The Phoenix Palace's Palace Lord said. Palace Master, what's the matter? Huang Ling asked curiously. It's about the Xinyuan Empire. The Phoenix Palace's Palace Lord said. Ancient Sun's Sacred Land? God Yuan Empire? Huang Ling's expression changed. Ancient Yang's Sacred Land was also one of the 9 sacred lands of Yuan Mountain, and it was close to Ancient Moon's Sacred Land. The Xinyuan Empire was one of the ancient Sun Holy Land's major powers. It was an ancient empire, and its strength was much stronger than Phoenix Palace. That's right. Some time ago, the old emperor of the Xinyuan Empire failed to survive the crisis of heaven and earth. He was annihilated in the crisis. The Palace Lord of Phoenix Palace said with a complicated expression. The old emperor of the Xinyuan Empire has failed his tribulation. Huang Ling's expression changed as well. The old emperor of the Xinyuan Empire was an unimaginable existence. He was extremely terrifying. Even if he wasn't a great emperor, he was at least a peak existence among true emperors. An expert like him was almost at the peak, but he still couldn't survive the Great Tribulation and fell under it. With the death of the old emperor, the Xinyuan Empire lost its ruler. In order to fight for the emperor's position, the various branches had internal strife and a fierce battle broke out. The battle caused the Xinyuan Empire to suffer heavy losses. In the end, a few ancient emperors who had been in seclusion appeared and quelled the internal strife with their terrifying combat power. However, a country cannot go a day without a ruler. The ancient emperors selected 3 of the most talented princes from the younger generation of the divine Yuan Empire to undergo a test. The prince who wins will become the crown prince of the divine Yuan Empire. As long as he becomes an emperor in the future, he will be able to take over the throne and become the new emperor. One of the prince's descendants has always been on good terms with the Phoenix Palace. A few days ago, he came to the Phoenix Palace and asked some geniuses to help him fight for the position of Crown Prince. The Phoenix Palace's Palace Lord explained. Huang Ling was enlightened. So that was what happened. The Phoenix Palace's Palace Master was probably referring to helping the Xinyuan Empire's prince. The Xinyuan Empire is very powerful, far stronger than many of the forces in ancient Moon Holy Land. If we can help this prince become the crown prince, or even inherit the entire Xinyuan Empire in the future, then our Phoenix Palace will also receive a powerful support. The Phoenix Palace's Palace Lord explained. Don't worry, Palace Master. I'll do my best to help the prince. Said Huang Ling. Yes, but just do your best. If there's danger, don't force yourself. This time, the other princes of the Xinyuan Empire will probably invite some powerful heaven's favorites to help. Just do what you can. I'll bring you to meet the prince. The master of the Phoenix Palace warned, then asked someone to bring Feng Ling to the prince. In a courtyard, Huang Ling met the prince. Ouyang Wushuang, it's you? Seeing the prince, Huang Ling was shocked. A phoenix spirit? The prince of the Xinyuan Empire, Ouyang Wushuang, was also surprised. He had not expected to see Feng Ling here. If Lu Ming was here, he would definitely be surprised. This was because the Xinyuan Empire's prince, Ouyang Wushuang, was one of the 6 people who had passed the Hunyuan Sect's assessment and become a silver inheritor. Previously, they only knew each other's names, but they did not know the other's detailed information. Chapter 1819, Chapter 1819. The 4 Forces of the Ancient Sun's Sacred Land. Chapter 1819. The 4 Forces of the Ancient Sun's Sacred Land. Since the 2 of them were old acquaintances, they naturally became familiar with each other very quickly. Huang Ling also had a clearer understanding of the matters of the Xinyuan Empire. This time, the other prince has also come to the ancient Moon Holy Land. His bloodline is familiar with the Wan family and the Golden Crow clan. I'm afraid he will invite the experts from these forces to help finally, Ouyang Wushuang said. Are you guys mainly inviting the young Heaven's Pride experts this time? Huang Ling asked. That's right. The ancient emperors have set a rule that allows the princes to invite their own geniuses to help them pass the test. After all, connections are also a form of strength, especially when it comes to ruling an ancient empire. Ouyang Wushuang explained. Who else did you invite besides Phoenix Palace? Huang Ling asked. Ouyang Wushuang smiled bitterly. My faction only has good relations with the Phoenix Palace and the Celestial Bird Palace. I went to the Celestial Bird Palace before but was rejected. Oh, I do have a few people I can recommend to you. Let's see if you can convince them. Said Huang Ling. Who is it? Ouyang Wushuang asked. Young Sect Master and Long Chen. Huang Ling said with a smile. What? Young Master Sect is also in ancient Moon Holy Land? Ouyang Wushuang's eyes widened in surprise. Of course. Back then, the young Sect Master, Long Chen, and I entered the Hunyuan Sect together. Of course, he's in the ancient Moon Sanctuary, said Huang Ling. Since that's the case, I'll definitely pay my respects. Ouyang Wushuang said. Then I'll send a message to Long Chen first, said Huang Ling. She then sent a message to Long Chen. Not long after Long Chen returned to the Divine Elephant Sect, he received the news from Phoenix Spirit and rushed to the Phoenix Palace. He was also surprised to see Ouyang Wushuang. After Ouyang Wushuang explained his purpose, Long Chen agreed without any hesitation. Immediately, the 3 of them headed to the Dian Elixir Palace. I didn't expect that young Sect Master would actually be the new Hall Master of the Great Yen Elixir Hall. Ouyang Wushuang sighed as he stood outside the Great Yen Elixir Palace. In ancient times, the Great Yen Elixir Hall was famous all over the world. Naturally, Ouyang Wushuang had heard of it. Not long after, Lu Ming came out. Ouyang Wushuang. Lu Ming was also surprised to see Ouyang Wushuang. Ouyang Wushuang explained his purpose for coming. Ancient Sun's Sacred Land? Alright, I agree. When do we leave? Lu Ming pondered for a while and agreed. In fact, even without Ouyang Wushuang's matter, Lu Ming had planned to make a trip to the Ancient Sun's Sacred Land soon. The only sacred hail was in the Ancient Sun's Sacred Land. Qiu Yu had been taken away by an expert from the Soul Divine Temple. It was very likely that she had become a disciple of the Soul Divine Temple. Moreover, Lu Ming had another idea. Ouyang Wushuang was the Hunyuan sect's silver successor. For at least 20 years, he had to listen to Lu Ming. If he could help Ouyang Wushuang control the Xinyuan Empire, this powerful force would definitely stand on Lu Ming's side. They could even be used by Lu Ming. To Lu Ming, this was definitely beneficial. He had already decided that he would definitely help Ouyang Wushuang obtain victory and become the crown prince of the Xinyuan Empire. With the help of the young sect master, this trip is not in vain. We can set off at any time. Ouyang Wushuang revealed a happy expression. Since Lu Ming could become the golden inheritor of the Hunyuan sect, his potential was definitely shocking. Even if his cultivation level was still weak, his combat strength was definitely not weak. He would be a great helper. In addition, Phoenix Spirit and Long Chen were also silver inheritors like him, so their combat strength was definitely not weak. Ouyang, in the future, you don't have to call me Young Master Sect in front of outsiders. Just call me Lu Ming. Lu Ming said. All right. Ouyang Wushuang nodded. Soon after, they arrived at Phoenix Palace. When Huang Ling reported to the palace master that Lu Ming and Long Chan were also going to Xinyuan Empire, the palace master was overjoyed. 2 months ago, the news that Lu Ming had killed Wan Jingyang had spread like wildfire. His combat strength was unparalleled. With Lu Ming participating, Ouyang Wushuang's chances of winning would increase greatly. Even the palace master of Phoenix Palace, who had been prepared to send the other paragons of Phoenix Palace, had cancelled the plan. The most powerful genius of the Phoenix Palace had been in seclusion at a critical moment and could not come out. The other geniuses were not as good as Feng Ling, so it was useless for them to go. A day later, Lu Ming, Feng Ling, Long Chen and of course, Bubbles followed Ouyang Wushuang and stepped onto the Phoenix Palace's teleportation formation. They left the Ancient Moon Sanctuary and headed towards the Ancient Sun Sanctuary. Of course, Phoenix Palace couldn't teleport directly into the Ancient Sun's sacred land. They teleported to a city on the outskirts of the Ancient Sun's sacred land and then flew to the Xinyuan Empire. On the way, Ouyang Wushuang told everyone about the situation in the Ancient Sun's sacred land. Ancient Yang Holy Land and Ancient Moon Holy Land were equally famous, but their structure was completely different. In the Ancient Moon Holy Land, many forces were in a confrontation, fighting with each other, each dominating a region. There were at least 20 powerful forces in total. And NBSP, but the Ancient Sun's sacred land was different. It only had 4 factions. There were only 4 forces in the vast Ancient Sun's sacred land, each occupying a vast territory and having existed for countless years. These 4 forces were the only holy temple in the Xinyuan Empire, the Purple Flame Villa, and the Daluo Heaven Sect. One must know that the Ancient Yang Holy Land's overall power was not weaker than the Ancient Moon Holy Land, and might even be stronger. One could imagine how strong these 4 forces were. Each force's strength was far above the Phoenix Palace and the Wan family. Among them, the Daluo Heaven Sect was the most powerful, suppressing the other 3 forces. This time, there were a total of 3 princes who were qualified to participate in the fight for the crown prince's position. The other 3 forces in the ancient Yang sacred land each supported a prince. The strongest sect, the Daluo Heaven Sect, supported the first prince, Ouyang Wudao. The only divine temple supported Ouyang Wuji. The Purple Flame Villa supported Ouyang Wushuang. It was obvious that if a prince became the crown prince, the faction that supported him would gain the friendship of the divine Yuan Empire. This would have a huge impact on the situation in the ancient Sun's sacred land. The Daluo Heaven Sect was especially powerful. If they supported the crown prince, Ouyang Wudao, to become the crown prince, the Daluo Heaven Sect would join hands with the Xinyuan Empire in the future. The other 2 forces would be in a very difficult situation. In order to fight against Ouyang Wudao, who was supported by the Daluo Heaven Sect, Ouyang Wushuang and Ouyang Wuji went to the ancient Moon Holy Land to seek help from the heaven's favorites. As they flew, the vast land flitted under their feet. After that, they saw a huge city that was boundless. That was the imperial capital of the Divine Origin Empire, which was also known as the Divine Origin Imperial Capital. When they entered the Divine Origin Imperial Capital, they could clearly see that some of the buildings had been destroyed. The Divine Origin Empire had just experienced a civil war. The war was incomparably intense, and it was said that even emperor-ranked experts had died in the war. The Divine Origin Imperial Capital had also suffered serious damage and had yet to be repaired. With Ouyang Wushuang leading the way, they were unimpeded and entered a continuous stretch of palaces. This was the Imperial Palace. Chapter 1820 Chapter 1820, Meeting Qiu Yu on the Street. Chapter 1820, Meeting Qiu Yu on the Street. Ouyang Wushuang was one of the top princes of the Xinyuan Empire, so he naturally had his own palace. They walked into a palace and Ouyang Wushuang asked someone to arrange a place for Lu Ming and the others to stay. Lu Ming, Fengling, Longchen, take a rest. I'll hold a banquet in 2 days. I'll introduce you to the geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa. Ouyang Wushuang said. All right, if you have something to do, then go. Lu Ming nodded. After Ouyang Wushuang had arranged a place for them to stay, he took his leave. Lu Ming, Huang Ling, and Long Chen were wandering around the hall. It was their first time in the ancient Sun's sacred land, and they were curious. The only divine temple supports the other prince? I wonder if he'll meet Qiu Yu. Lu Ming pondered. The three of them walked around and chatted for a while before returning to their rooms to cultivate. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. 2 days later, Ouyang Wushuang held a banquet and sent someone to invite the three of them to the banquet. When the three of them arrived at a large hall, there were already a few people seated inside. Ouyang Wushuang sat at the head of the hall. On the left side of the hall, there were 8 young men and women. All of them were wearing the same purple clothes with a purple flame embroidered on it. Lu Ming and the other two's hearts skipped a beat. They knew that this was the pride of the Purple Flame Villa. Lu Ming, Fengling, Long Chen, please take a seat. Ouyang Wushuang stood up to welcome them while Lu Ming and the other two took their seats. Everyone is here. Let me introduce them to you. These are the heaven's favorites from the Purple Flame Villa. This is Xiao Muqing and this is... Ouyang Wushuang first introduced Lu Ming and the others to the geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa. Nice to meet you. Lu Ming and the other two stood up and raised their glasses to toast. However, the 8 heavens favorites from the Purple Flame Villa only laughed and did not reply. Their faces were filled with pride. This attitude was somewhat disrespectful to Lu Ming and the rest. This made Ouyang Wushuang's face darken. Prince Wushuang, I heard you went to ancient Moon Holy Land to ask for help. Are these the heavens favorites you invited? Yimo asked. In the Purple Flame Villa, a young man with a purple flame between his brows spoke. His name was Xiao Muqing, and he was an extremely powerful heavens favorite of the Xiao family in the Purple Flame Villa. His cultivation had reached the Great Saint Perfection realm. Not bad. These geniuses from ancient Moon Holy Land are extremely talented, Ouyang Wushuang introduced. Extraordinary talent? How come I've never seen him in Heavenly Emperor City? Another heaven's favorite from the Purple Flame Villa interrupted Ouyang Wushuang's words. That's right, we have seen all of the powerful heaven's favorites from ancient Moon Holy Land in Heaven Emperor City. Why don't we see them? Xiao Muqing smiled faintly. When the news of a great emperor building the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy spread in Heavenly Emperor City, countless geniuses gathered in Heavenly Emperor City and clashed with each other. Many geniuses had met each other before. The geniuses from Purple Flame Villa had also been to Heavenly Emperor City and met many geniuses from ancient Moon Holy Land. However, they did not know Lu Ming and the others. Even the Heavenly Emperor City did not dare to go. How strong could they be? And he was extremely talented? They obviously didn't believe him. Our cultivation was still weak at that time, so we didn't go to Heavenly Emperor City. Long Chen said in a deep voice. Your cultivation is still weak. At least you have some self-awareness. His cultivation was weak before. Is he strong now? I've heard that Ouyang Wuji managed to invite the #1 genius of the Skywolf Tower and the second prince of the Golden Crow race from the ancient Moon Holy Land. They are all very powerful. A few of the Purple Flame Villa's geniuses mocked him. This made Lu Ming, Feng Ling, and Long Chen's faces turn cold. Ouyang Wushuang's face was also ugly. He waved his hand and said, "All right, since you're all here to help me, you should work together and not fight among yourselves." He said, "Prince Wushuang, we are doing this for your own good. I hope these people will be of some use." Xiao Muqing sneered with a faint sense of disdain. After that, the atmosphere became a little awkward. Everyone drank a few cups and then left unhappily. "Lu Ming, I'm sorry." After the people from the Purple Flame Villa left, Ouyang Wushuang felt a little apologetic. It's normal for people from big forces to have their eyes on the top of their heads. I just don't know if they have the corresponding strength. Lu Ming smiled faintly. The heavens favorites of the Purple Flame Villa are quite strong. Maybe I've never seen you guys before, so I'm a little proud. Ouyang Wushuang explained. I hope so. Lu Ming smiled and bade farewell to Ouyang Wushuang. He returned to his residence with Feng Ling and Long Chen. Ow! Ouyang Wushuang sighed and felt a headache. However, he was still biased towards the Purple Flame Villa. Lu Ming, Feng Ling, and Long Chen had great potential, but their cultivation levels were still weak. This test mainly relied on the talents of the Purple Flame Villa, Lu Ming, and a few others to assist. Lu Ming and the other two returned to their residence and made an appointment to visit the Divine Origin Imperial Capital the next day. The next morning, the three of them headed outside. The three of them had Ouyang Wushuang's token, so they were naturally unimpeded. The Divine Origin Imperial Capital had been passed down for countless years. It was vast and boundless. All sorts of ancient buildings soared into the sky. From afar, it was extremely spectacular. Even though it had just experienced internal strife, the Divine Origin Imperial Capital had basically returned to normal. Shops lined both sides of the streets, and martial Dao powerhouses were streaming in endlessly. The three of them didn't have a goal in mind and just wandered around. They bought whatever they needed. Lu Ming, what's wrong? As they walked, Huang Ling and Long Chen realized that something was wrong with Lu Ming. Lu Ming suddenly stopped and looked ahead without blinking. They followed Lu Ming's gaze and saw a woman in front of them. She was out of this world. This woman had a slender and graceful figure. She wore a long dress and had an otherworldly temperament. She was like a goddess from the legends, a fairy from heaven. Even in the vast crowd, she could attract everyone's attention and become the center of attention. This woman's appearance wasn't any worse than Huang Ling's. Brother Lu Ming is lecherous. He can't move when he sees a beautiful woman. Bubbles mumbled as she sat on Lu Ming's shoulder. Huang Ling and Long Chen were a little surprised. Although the lady was like a goddess, they knew Lu Ming well enough to know that he was not such a person. At that moment, Lu Ming seemed to have not heard Bubbles, Feng Ling, and the rest. There was only one person in his eyes, the lady who was as white as snow. Qiuyu. Lu Ming did not expect that after so many years, he would meet Qiuyu again on the streets of this house. It had been more than 10 years since Qiuyu had been taken away by the only expert from the Divine Temple. It had been more than 10 years since they had last seen each other, but Qiuyu was still as beautiful as before, except that she had matured a little and her temperament had become more otherworldly. For more than 10 years in the vast Yuan continent, Lu Ming did not know where to look for Qiuyu. All these years, especially Lu Ming's parents, they had been thinking about Qiuyu. Qiuyu could be said to have grown up with Lu Ming. Li Ping and her husband had almost treated Qiuyu as half a daughter. Lu Ming's main purpose in coming to the ancient Sun's sacred land was to find Qiuyu. However, he did not expect to achieve this goal so easily. Chapter 1821. Chapter 1821. Don't recognize Lu Ming anymore. Chapter 1821. Don't recognize Lu Ming anymore. Lu Ming took a deep breath and calmed himself down. He smiled and said to Huang Ling and the rest, I met an old friend. I haven't seen him for many years. I'll introduce him to you later. With that, Lu Ming stepped forward and walked toward Qiuyu. Lu Ming walked like the wind and arrived beside Qiuyu in a few steps. He called out, Chu. Even though Lu Ming was very determined now, he was still a little shaken. He wondered what kind of expression Qiuyu would have when she suddenly saw him. Qiu Yu turned around and looked at Lu Ming when she heard him. However, Lu Ming was stunned by her gaze. It was a kind of silence, and there was a vague look of disgust in his eyes as if Lu Ming was a stranger. "Qiu, long time no see." Lu Ming revealed a smile on his face. "Get lost." A cold voice came out of Qiu Yu's mouth, and the disgust in her eyes became even stronger. "What's going on?" Lu Ming was stunned. Qiu Yu would never speak to him like that. Could it be that the person in front of him was not Qiu Yu? That was impossible. Lu Ming grew up with Qiu Yu and they had been together for more than 10 years. He could not be mistaken. Even if Qiu Yu's temperament had changed a little, she was definitely Qiu Yu. Moreover, no matter how high a person's cultivation level was, their intrinsic aura would not change. Lu Ming would definitely remember Qiu Yu's aura correctly. The beauty in front of him was Qiu Yu. "Qiu, im young master. Im Lu Ming." Lu Ming took a step forward and reached out to pull Qiu Yu's small hand. "Lecher, you're looking for death, die." Qiu Yu shouted as a blade of light burst out from her hand. It was extremely terrifying and bone-chilling. Lu Ming's expression changed and he retreated, avoiding the blade of light. "Fanatic, how dare you flirt with my junior sister Qiu in broad daylight? I'll kill you." A fiery red figure rushed toward Lu Ming. It was a young man with cold eyes. He threw a palm at Lu Ming. The fiery palm print made the void tremble. Lu Ming's mind was in a state of shock and he did not dodge. The palm landed heavily on his body. Lu Ming's body trembled and he drifted backward. The young man's eyes turned cold. He felt that when his palm landed on Lu Ming's body, it was as if he had landed on an immortal diamond. He could not move it at all. How was it possible with his great sage mastery cultivation? It must be an illusion kill. The young man took a step forward and rushed toward Lu Ming, intending to kill him. "Get back." Long Chen stepped forward and threw a punch. The young man's expression changed as he felt that he couldn't fight against this punch. At the critical moment he stopped himself and backed off to avoid Long Chen's punch. "You're lucky today." The young man snorted coldly and swept his cold gaze at Lu Ming. Then he turned around and left. At this moment, Qiu Yu had already floated away and disappeared into the crowd. From the beginning to the end, she did not even look at Lu Ming. "What's going on? Qiu doesn't seem to recognize me at all." Lu Ming furrowed his brows tightly and could not understand. Although his temperament had changed a lot over the years, he had been with Qiu Yu for so many years. It was impossible for Qiu Yu not to recognize him. Furthermore, he had already given his name, but Qiu Yu still pointed her sword at him. Based on Lu Ming's understanding of Qiu Yu, this was impossible. Qiu Yu's eyes revealed that she was very quiet, as if she really did not know Lu Ming. What had happened all these years? Another person who doesn't know what's good for him wants to get close to Fairy Qiu. He's asking for trouble. And NBSB, isn't that so? He's a toad lusting after a swan's flesh. Qiu Fairy is one of the two beauties of the ancient sun's sacred land. So many peerless geniuses have tried to pursue her, but they've all been rejected. This kid is just dreaming. It's already good luck that he wasn't killed. The people on the streets who had witnessed this scene sneered and looked at Lu Ming in disdain. "Lu Ming, what's wrong?" Huang Ling walked over and asked curiously. Based on her understanding of Lu Ming, he was not that kind of person. He would not touch a beautiful woman and be unable to move. However, they were very curious about Lu Ming's unusual behavior just now. "An old friend. We haven't seen each other for more than 10 years, but he doesn't seem to recognize me at all." Lu Ming did not hide anything and told her about his relationship with Qiu Yu. "That's strange. We cultivators will never forget a person. Even if we haven't seen each other for 10,000 years, we can still recognize each other." Long Chen said with a frown. Cultivators had a good memory, and a person's origin aura would not change. No matter how long it had been, one could still recognize it. "She doesn't know you at all." "There are only two possibilities," Huang Ling spoke, but she stopped halfway. She wanted to say something but stopped, as if she couldn't bear to. "Let's go back." Lu Ming turned around and walked toward Ouyang Wushuang's mansion after he finished speaking. He knew what Huang Ling wanted to say. There were only two possibilities if she didn't know him. The first was amnesia. The second was to be possessed by an expert. No matter what, something must have happened to Chiu Yu, and he would definitely find out. Lu Ming walked very slowly as he pondered. Long Chen and Feng Ling followed behind him and did not disturb him. After walking for a long time, they finally returned to Ouyang Wushuang's mansion. This lecher is back. He still has the face to come back. As soon as they entered the gate, they met a few young men from the Purple Flame Villa. One of them sneered. "Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself in the mirror? You're really overestimating yourself to have designs on Fairy Chuyue." Moreover, his cultivation is so low that he was sent flying by a great sage from the only sacred hall. I really don't know what use Prince Wushuang has in inviting such a person. He'll just drag us down. The other young men from the Purple Flame Villa also sneered. Obviously, the scene on the street was also witnessed by the geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa. Otherwise, they would not have known so clearly. "Shut up!" Lu Ming shouted coldly, his eyes sweeping across the few people like lightning. "Kid, who are you asking to shut up?" One of the Purple Flame Villa's paragons' expression turned cold. "I heard a few wild dogs barking as soon as I came back. Get lost immediately." Lu Ming was already in a bad mood. When he came back and heard these people's sarcasm, he naturally did not look happy. "Kid, you're just a piece of trash. If it weren't for Prince Wushuang, I would have thrown you out long ago. How dare you act so arrogantly now? It seems like you don't know your place if I don't teach you a lesson." A burly Heaven's favorite from the Purple Flame Villa shouted coldly and stepped forward, pressing toward Lu Ming. This man was at the peak of the Supreme Saint Realm and was a powerful Heaven's favorite. His spiritual body was a medium-grade Heaven spiritual body. "Get lost!" Lu Ming took a step forward and pounced on his opponent like a bolt of lightning. He struck out with his palm. Chapter 1822, Lu Ming's Outburst. Chapter 1822, Lu Ming's Outburst. Lu Ming's palm seemed to have turned into a prison-suppressing steel that suppressed the heavens. As he struck out with his palm, the world buzzed and the void trembled. The terrifying pressure made the burly young man from the Purple Flame Villa change his expression as he felt the terrible pressure. He bellowed in rage and the purple flames on his body bloomed, forming a purple beast that pounced at Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming's palm was unstoppable. There was nothing it could not break. With a slash, the purple beast exploded, but the palm did not stop. The other party's expression changed again, and he blocked it with both hands. Bang! Lu Ming's palm landed on the man's arm. The man screamed in pain and his body flew out, falling heavily on the ground. His arms were completely twisted. He spat out a mouthful of blood and his face was pale. He looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. Previously, on the street, Lu Ming could not even withstand a palm strike from a great sage in great mastery. How could he be so terrifying now and injure him so badly with one palm? In fact, Lu Ming had shown mercy. Otherwise, he would have been dead. "How dare you hurt the people of my Purple Flame Villa? Let me see your combat strength." In the Purple Flame Villa, another young man shouted. With a swish, his figure pounced toward Lu Ming. His cultivation of the great saint in the Great Circle was fully released. This person was no weaker than the #1 genius of the Wan family, Wan Zheng. In fact, he might even be slightly stronger. Violet Meteorite Critical Strike. The man roared. It was as if he had turned into a flame. He punched out continuously with both fists. Balls of purple flames shot towards Lu Ming like meteorites. This was a terrifying divine ability. It was shockingly powerful. Lu Ming was not afraid at all. He circulated the chaos law and activated the prison-suppressing heaven technique. His palm was like a knife, and he slashed 100 times in an instant. Bang! Bang! In the sky, the meteorite-like attack exploded like fireworks when Lu Ming's palm struck it. Lu Ming rushed through the flames, but the flames did not touch his body. He quickly approached the genius of the Purple Flame Villa, and a terrifying attack was aimed at him. Violet Meteorite Critical Strike, combine, die. The paragon of the Purple Flame Villa shouted. The flames burned fiercely as he pushed his hands out slowly. A huge fireball, like a purple sun, pressed down on Lu Ming. "Break, die!" Lu Ming bellowed. The dragon's roar reverberated in his body. He pointed with his finger and the chaotic finger of tribulation burst forth. A huge finger condensed and pointed at his opponent. Boom! A terrifying explosion sounded out, and the sky continuously trembled. There were experts protecting the buildings below, or else they would have exploded. In the end, the primal chaos tribulation finger crushed over like a god, exploding the sun with a single finger. The scene was extremely shocking. Bang! The sovereign from the Purple Flame Villa was sent flying back. He was only able to stabilize himself after flying for more than 10,000 meters, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. How is that possible? He muttered to himself. He was actually defeated by a great sage in the Great Perfection realm. How could this be possible? The law of chaos. He is one of the sons of God, the son of chaos. Someone exclaimed. The others looked at Lu Ming in shock. It was no wonder that the son of chaos was so terrifying. Still not getting lost. Lu Ming stood in the air and chided indifferently. The people from the Purple Flame Villa blushed and left dejectedly. Since Lu Ming and the rest had just arrived, they had been looking at them with contempt. Almost all of the top heaven's favorites from the ancient Moon Holy Land had been to the Heavenly Emperor City. They had seen them before, but Lu Ming and the others had not been to the Heavenly Emperor City. Their first impression was that Lu Ming and the others were very weak, and they looked down on them from the bottom of their hearts. Previously, the two geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa happened to see Lu Ming being sent flying by a great sage in one palm strike. This made them look down on him even more. This time, the people who helped Ouyang Wushuang in the Purple Flame Villa were all at the peak of the Great Saint realm or even Great Saint Perfection. He believed that the people invited by the other princes were the same. With Lu Ming's cultivation base, it was almost useless. Therefore, as soon as Lu Ming and the rest returned, they mocked them. However, they did not expect Lu Ming to suddenly explode, and his combat strength was so strong that it was abnormal. They were also prodigies, but Lu Ming had surpassed them by 3 levels. They were too ashamed to stay here after he had defeated them. "You're overestimating yourself." Long Chen smiled faintly. After that, they all returned to their residences and began cultivating in seclusion. However, the next morning, Ouyang Wushuang sent someone to invite them to meet again. It was still the same hall as before, and everyone took their seats. The only difference was that the paragons of the Purple Flame Villa now looked at Lu Ming with a grave expression. Ouyang Wushuang smiled. He had received the news of the battle between Lu Ming and the Heaven's Pride expert of the Purple Flame Villa. Lu Ming's combat strength was beyond his imagination. He could actually suppress a great saint in the Great Perfection realm. However, the stronger Lu Ming was, the more advantageous it would be for him. "Prince Wushuang, why have you summoned us so early?" One of the geniuses from the Purple Flame Villa asked. "Ouyang Wuji has sent me an invitation to a banquet for me and everyone else." Ouyang Wushuang explained the reason. "Ouyang Wuji invited us to a banquet. I'm afraid that things are not as simple as they seem," someone said with a frown. Ouyang Wuji was one of the 3 competing princes and had the support of the only sacred hall. He had even invited many heaven's favorites from the ancient Moon Holy Land to help him. It would not be easy to invite them to a banquet. No matter what, he's inviting us openly. "I doubt he'll dare to play dirty," said Huang Ling. The test for the 3 princes had yet to begin. Ouyang Wuji would not dare to play any dirty tricks and harm them. Otherwise, he would be disqualified immediately. That's right. Therefore, we can't lose our momentum. "Let's go and see what Ouyang Wuji is up to," Ouyang Wushuang said. No one had any objections. It would be beneficial for them to meet Ouyang Wuji and his helpers first. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. After chatting for a while, Ouyang Wushuang led his men towards a vast palace when it was almost time. That palace was Ouyang Wuji's residence. Someone brought them to a spacious courtyard. "Ha, ninth brother, you're here. And all the heroes, please have a seat." A young man wearing a purple gold robe and a purple gold crown laughed heartily as he came out to welcome them. Sixth brother, you don't have to be so polite. Ouyang Wushuang said with a smile. Among the princes, Ouyang Wushuang was ranked 9th, Ouyang Wuji was ranked 6th, and Ouyang Wudao was ranked 1st. He was known as the first prince. Ouyang Wuji and Ouyang Wushuang sat at the head of the table. Below Ouyang Wuji sat more than 10 young men. Each of them had an extraordinary aura. On the other hand, Lu Ming and the rest were seated below Ouyang Wuji. Both parties were sizing each other up. Qiu Yue. Lu Ming saw Qiu Yu at a glance, and his gaze fell on her. Qiu Yu seemed to have sensed Lu Ming's gaze. She frowned and cast a cold glance at Lu Ming. It seems like you really can't recognize me. Lu Ming frowned. The second prince of the Golden Crow, Mo Lang of the Skywolf Tower, Huang Ling muttered and looked across. Chapter 1823. Chapter 1823, Spar. Chapter 1823. Chapter 1823 Spar. On the other side, there were 5 or 6 heavens favorites from ancient Moon Holy Land. They were all top heavens favorites from the various forces. For example, Mo Lang was the number 1 genius in the Skywolf Tower, and the second prince of the Golden Crow clan was the number 2 genius in the Golden Crow clan. It's Lu Ming. When Ink Wolf, the second prince of the Golden Crow race, and the rest saw Lu Ming, their expressions changed abruptly and became somewhat unsightly. Lu Ming's name was too well known in the ancient Moon Holy Land. Not long ago, he had killed Falcon and Wan Jingyang, both of whom were not weaker than them. Their expressions were naturally ugly, revealing a deep fear. It's good that Lu Ming came to the ancient Yang sacred land. We can leave him to the geniuses of the Soul Sacred Hall. Every single one of them is shockingly powerful. It's hard for anyone of the same level to be a match for them. We can kill Lu Ming. Not bad. Mo Lang, the Golden Crow second prince, and the others were secretly communicating with each other. All kinds of thoughts were running through their minds. Ninth brother, I'm very grateful that all of you have come to this banquet today. Let me toast you all. Ouyang Wuji raised his cup and said a few polite words. Everyone raised their cups and drank a cup. Ninth brother, the test will begin in a few days. Are you ready? Ouyang Wuji suddenly said as he put down his wine cup. Of course, when the time comes, I hope sixth brother will show mercy. Ouyang Wushuang said with a smile. His words were watertight. Ninth brother, are you confident about this assessment? Ouyang Wuji suddenly changed the topic. Big brother has the support of the Daluo Heaven sect and is very powerful. I'm not sure. Ouyang Wushuang sighed. That's right. You have the support of the Daluo Heaven sect, which is full of geniuses and powerhouses. I'm afraid you and I can't compete with them. So, I invited you here to discuss something with you. Ouyang Wuji said. Sixth brother might as well be direct. Ouyang Wushuang said. Alright, so be frank. You and I won't be big brother's match even if we separate. How about we work together? Ninth brother will help me become the crown prince. I won't forget you in the future. When I inherit the throne, you will be above everyone else in the Xinyuan Empire. How about that? Ouyang Wuji revealed his purpose. His words caused the faces of all the paragons of the Purple Flame Villa to change. However, Ouyang Wushuang's expression did not change. He played with the jade cup in his hand and seemed to be thinking. After a while, he slowly said, Sixth brother's idea is not bad. You agree? Ouyang Wuji was overjoyed. I didn't say I agreed. I just said that it's a good idea. How about this? Sixth brother, help me win the position of crown prince. I can also guarantee that you will be second only to one person and above thousands of people in the future. What do you think? Ouyang Wushuang said with a smile. Ninth brother, are you toying with me? Ouyang Wuji's face darkened. How did I trick you? I can help you, but you can't help me? Ouyang Wuji said indifferently. Ninth brother, you have to know your own strength. You and your helpers will only be a foil in this assessment. You won't stand a chance. Ouyang Wuji's voice turned cold. His words made the people from the Purple Flame Villa's faces turn ugly. Ouyang Wuji's words implied that the Purple Flame Villa was weak and not as good as the one and only Holy Temple. In fact, that was the truth. Of the four forces of the ancient Yang's sacred land, the Purple Flame Villa was the weakest. Although the number of disciples in the unique divine temple was the smallest, their title of being unique was not just for show. Every single disciple of the unique divine temple had terrifying talent in their own fields. Sixth brother, you're that confident? Ouyang Wushuang was not angry. It's not confidence, it's the truth. Ouyang Wuji spoke with great confidence. He continued, ninth brother, to put it bluntly, you're weak to begin with. What qualifications do you have for me to help you? Why don't you help me defeat big brother? Sixth brother, you can't just say who's strong or weak with your mouth. Ouyang Wushuang said indifferently. Oh, so, ninth brother is confident in competing with me? Ouyang Wuji said. Ouyang Wushuang didn't finish his words. He took a sip of the wine, which was a silent agreement. Ah, good. Since ninth brother is so confident, sixth brother would like to see it for himself. Why don't we have a friendly match? Ouyang Wuji said. How do we spar? Ouyang Wushuang asked. You and I are well aware of our combat strength. There's no need to spar. Let's see who is stronger. Ouyang Wuji said. All right. Ouyang Wushuang nodded. He understood that the main purpose of Ouyang Wuji's invitation was to suppress his morale and then persuade him to help Ouyang Wuji. How could he give in? Set up the battle stage. Ouyang Wuji's voice rang out. Immediately, there was a roar in the open space, and then a huge fighting ring emerged. Buzz. On Ouyang Wuji's side, a figure flickered out and stood on the fighting ring. He did not hide his aura at all. Layers of white flames bloomed, causing the space around him to constantly distort. Im Yu Kuren, the only disciple of the Holy Temple. Am a great saint in the exceptional realm and am good at the law of fire. The Purple Flame Villa is also good at the law of fire. Which great saint in the exceptional realm would like to fight me? Yushu's gaze swept past Lu Ming and the others. However, it only swept past Lu Ming and his group before landing on the people from the Purple Flame Villa. I'll fight you. A sovereign from the Purple Flame Villa stepped into the air and rushed up to the fighting ring. This person was the one who was defeated by Lu Ming yesterday. The two of them stood on the fighting ring, their auras bursting forth, causing the fighting ring to heat up. A light screen rose around the fighting ring to isolate the heat. The two of them didn't waste any words and immediately started fighting. Both of them cultivated the Flame Maxim, which was filled with terrifying destructive power. Their attacks collided continuously, causing loud rumbles and blazing flames. However, Yushu's white flame, which was unknown, was extremely powerful. After a few moves, he gained the upper hand and began to suppress the Purple Flame Villa's genius. After a dozen or so moves, the Purple Flame Villa's sovereign was no match for Yushu. He was thrown out of the fighting ring by Yushu's punch and spat out a large mouthful of blood. Yushu was defeated. They were both great saints in the Great Perfection, but he was defeated by the other party in a dozen moves. This made all the geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa have ugly expressions. Even Ouyang Wushuang's face darkened. I've long heard that every single heaven's favorite from the one and only sacred temple is extremely terrifying. They're said to be the only ones in the world, and every attribute and domain is unique. It's truly shocking. Huang Ling said softly. That's right. Yushu's white flame is extremely strange. It can even burn flames, said Long Chen with a serious expression. The flame could actually burn other flames. It was really strange and terrifying. You're even worthy of cultivating the law of fire? Yushu stood on the fighting ring, looking down at the geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa with disdain. Chapter 1824. Chapter 1824, Long Chen takes action. Chapter 1824. Chapter 1824 Long Chen takes action. The fire elementalists of the Purple Flame Villa were now being looked down upon in this field, which made their faces even uglier. I'll fight you. A furious roar was heard as a figure rushed up the fighting ring. This person was Xiao Muqing, the leader of the geniuses in the Purple Flame Villa. His cultivation was also in the Great Sage Perfection realm. In fact, many top geniuses were in the Great Sage Perfection realm. After all, very, very few of the younger generation could reach the absolute saint realm. It wasn't easy to break through this barrier. Of course, there were strong and weak people in the same realm. Kill! Xiao Muqing stepped onto the battle stage and made his move immediately. His fists continued to blast out. In the sky, there were huge meteorites, carrying purple flames, smashing towards Yushu. The white flames around Yushu's body condensed into battle swords and slashed out, splitting the meteorites one by one. On the fighting ring, the rumbling sounds were more intense than before. Xiao Muqing's combat power was stronger than the heaven's favorite from the Purple Flame Villa. His magical power was more profound, at least 70%, and its power was very shocking. The two of them had exchanged more than 100 moves. The fighting ring was filled with white and purple flames that were fighting against each other. However, after 100 moves, Xiao Muqing was still no match and gradually fell into a disadvantage. Another 100 moves passed, and Xiao Muqing was blasted off the fighting ring by Yushu. Xiao Muqing was also defeated. As the only disciple of the Sacred Hall, his combat strength was indeed shocking. Great Sage in the Great Circle, who else is up for a fight? Go! Yushu shouted. Her eyes were like lightning as she scanned the people of the Purple Flame Villa. The people of the Purple Flame Villa were silent. Even their leader, Xiao Muqing, had been defeated. If the others went up, they would only be asking for humiliation. You're really weak. Senior brother Yushu isn't the strongest among the great saints in the Great Circle of the Holy Temple. Someone from the Holy Temple sneered. This made the Purple Flame Villa and Ouyang Wushuang's heart sink. Yushu was the only great sage in the Great Circle in the Holy Temple, but she was not the strongest? How was that possible? Yushu's combat strength was almost invincible among those of the same level, unless it was a king body that controlled the laws of the king path or a superior grade heavenly spirit body. However, these people were not cabbages that could be found easily. In the Soul Divine Temple, there were great sage, great perfection cultivators who were even stronger than Yushu. No wonder the Soul Divine Temple was so arrogant. No wonder Ouyang Wuji was so confident. Ninth brother, I'm sure you've seen how strong he is. Ouyang Wuji said indifferently. The sparring has just begun. What's the rush, sixth brother? Ouyang Wushuang said. Oh, then let's continue. Since no one dares to fight a great sage in the Great Perfection Realm, then let's fight a great sage peak. Ouyang Wuji coldly snorted. Yushu got off the battle platform. Another person from the Supreme Sacred Hall stepped onto the battle platform, showing that his cultivation was at the peak of the Supreme Saint. Ouyang Wuji wanted to completely crush Ouyang Wushuang's side at all levels, peak of the Great Saint Realm. Who wants to fight? The only heaven's favorite from the Sacred Hall was full of confidence and arrogance. The faces of the Purple Flame Villa's elites were all very serious. Finally, a peak Supreme Saint stepped onto the fighting stage. Unfortunately, he was no match for the heaven's favorite from the only divine temple. Just like before, it was a one-sided battle. After a few dozen moves, the heaven's favorite from the Purple Flame Villa was defeated. Next, the Purple Flame Villa sent another heaven's favorite, but he was still no match for them. Great saints in the Great Circle and great saints in the peak were all crushed. Ninth brother, I've said it before. Even if you participate in the test, you won't have a chance. Why don't you come and help me? Ouyang Wuji continued. Only 2 levels have been carried out. The Great Sage Great Mastery Realm hasn't been fought yet. Sixth brother, you're speaking too early. Ouyang Wushuang said. Do great sages still need to fight? People of this realm are almost useless in this test. Ouyang Wuji revealed a disdainful smile. This time, the heaven's favorites they invited were the best of the best. Not only did they have strong spiritual bodies, but their superpowers were also profound. Their cultivations were at least at the peak of the Great Saint Realm, and most of them were at the great perfection of the Great Saint Realm. The great mastery of the Supreme Saint Realm had no effect on the battle. How would you know if you haven't fought? Ouyang Wushuang said. Since ninth brother insists on this, I happen to have a great sage, great perfection heaven's pride on my side. I'll accompany you. Ouyang Wuji said. After that, A supreme saint from the supreme sacred hall stepped onto the battle platform. Great sage, great mastery, who wants to fight? The man shouted. The geniuses of the Purple Flame Villa looked at each other. There was no one in the great sage realm among them. I'll fight this battle. Long Chen stood up and stepped into the fighting ring. Long Chen's cultivation base was the great sage. Ninth brother, I heard that you asked for help from a few heaven's favorites in ancient Moon Temple. Could it be them? His cultivation is a little low. Ouyang Wuji laughed with a hint of mockery. The heaven's favorites he invited from the ancient Moon Holy Land were all in the great circle of the Supreme Saint Realm, such as Mo Lang and the Golden Crow's second prince. Although they were not as strong as the heaven's favorites from the only holy temple, their battle power was not to be underestimated. The deciding factor of one's combat strength isn't just one's cultivation. Ouyang Wushuang replied indifferently. Oh really? Not everyone has ninth brother's talent. Ouyang Wuji laughed. On the fighting ring, Long Chen stood with his hands behind his back. He had an extraordinary bearing, but in the eyes of the only person from the temple, he was not happy. Do you still need me to make a move? I advise you to get the hell out of here. The only chosen from the sacred temple spoke arrogantly. If you can take 3 of my moves, I'll admit defeat. Long Chen said indifferently. What? 3 moves? Ha! The only heaven's favorite from the sacred hall burst into laughter. Not only him, but the others below the battle stage were also laughing. The supreme talent of the only sacred temple was almost invincible among those of the same level. Now, Long Chen said that he would defeat the supreme talent of the only sacred temple in 3 moves. Wasn't this ridiculous? Ninth brother, your friend is really... Ouyang Wuji was about to sneer at him, but he stopped mid-sentence. The trumpeting of an elephant resounded through the sky. One of Long Chen's arms swelled rapidly. He took a step forward, shaking the fighting ring. Then, he threw a punch at the supreme sacred hall's genius. Boom! Wherever the fist force passed, the sky would shake and the air would evaporate, forming a terrifying vacuum. The terrifying power caused the heaven's favorite from the only sacred temple to turn pale. Block it! The only heaven's favorite from the sacred hall used all his strength to resist, but it was useless. Long Chen's fist force blasted out, and all the defenses were shattered. The Heaven's Pride expert from the Soul Divine Temple let out a blood-curdling screech as his body was sent flying. He fell heavily off the fighting stage. Half of his body had been smashed and he had almost been beaten to death. How is that possible? The other Heaven's favorites from the only temple all stood up. Their auras were filled with disbelief. Chapter 1825. Since you're a Heaven's favorite, you have to fight above your level. Chapter 1825. Since you're a Heaven's favorite, you have to fight above your level. The only Heaven's favorite of the Divine Temple was known as the one and only one in the world. He was invincible among his peers. But now, he was defeated by Long Chen in a single move. This shocked everyone. Long Chen was being polite when he said 3 moves, but in fact, he couldn't even block one. The law of extremity. It's one of the laws of the King Path, the law of extremity. In the only sacred hall, someone recognized Long Chen's law. This person has a king physique and can control extreme power. No wonder he's so terrifying. It's the same as the 9th prince, a king body. The only Heaven's favorites from the sacred hall were discussing. This fellow is also this strong? The paragons of the Purple Flame Villa looked at Long Chen in shock. Previously, Lu Ming had displayed unparalleled combat strength. He did not expect that Long Chen was not weak either. He had defeated the only sanctuary's genius of the same level with 1 move. Could it be that these few people are all so abnormal? Their gazes then shifted to Lu Ming and Huang Ling and Mo Lang, the Golden Crow's second prince, and the others from the Guyu Holy Land all had serious expressions. They already knew Long Chen had a king body and could control the king path laws. What's the point of fighting at the same level? Since you're called a Heaven's favorite, you should fight above your level. Who among you at the peak of the Great Saint Realm wants to fight? At this moment, Long Chen's voice rang out, and he looked in the direction of the Soul Divine Temple. Many people were shocked. Long Chen was actually going to challenge someone of a higher level. Wasn't he too confident? To heaven's favorites like them, it was not difficult to fight someone above their level. However, this was only applicable to ordinary martial artists, such as those who had inferior, medium, or even superior earth spiritual bodies. However, who among the top heaven's favorites could fight above their level? This was unless he had a battle prowess that far exceeded those of the same level. Although you have a king body and control the laws of the king path, you might not be able to skip a level and challenge us. The only heaven's favorite from the sacred temple snorted coldly. Nonsense, do you dare to fight? Long Chen was domineering, and his battle intent was threatening. You asked for it, so I'll fulfill your wish. The only heaven's favorite from the sacred hall stepped out and appeared on the fighting ring. This man was the heaven's favorite who had defeated the supreme saints at the peak of the Purple Flame Villa. He was extremely powerful. He was almost invincible in a battle of the same level, not to mention that Long Chen was one level above him. I will let you understand that even if you control the laws of the icing path, you are not invincible. The only St. Palace's heaven's favorite shouted coldly. A terrifying aura burst out from him, and a dazzling golden light bloomed from his hand, forming a golden sword. This person controlled the laws of metal and was extremely sharp. An elephant's cry rang out, and Long Chen's entire body swelled up. The laws of nature circulated to the extreme, as if it was filled with infinite power. Boom, boom. Long Chen stepped on the fighting ring, and the ring rumbled as he charged toward his opponent. The metal sword in his opponent's hand was extremely sharp. It was 10 meters long and slashed at Long Chen. Long Chen punched out. Clang. The sound of metal clashing resounded. The opponent's gold sword shook violently and then exploded. The man was forced to retreat. So strong. Many people were shocked. Long Chen's strength was too strong. He was one level higher than his opponent, but he was able to shatter his opponent's attack with one punch and push him back. Again. Long Chen took a step forward and threw another punch at his opponent. 10,000 soldier condensation, die. The only sacred hall genius shouted. The law of metal circulated, and countless weapons formed in the sky. They attacked Long Chen from all directions. However, Long Chen's attacks were very simple. He just threw out one punch after another, but each punch shook the void and crushed everything in its path. All the weapons in his path were shattered. The terrifying fist force continued to surge towards the other party, forcing him to retreat. The armored giant, die. The only St. Palace's genius shouted. His saint power surged, and two giant creatures formed in front of him. These were two giants. Their entire bodies were golden as if they were completely made of metal. They were 10 meters tall and had an oppressive aura. Thump, thump. The two giants stepped forward, and their fists, which were as big as water tanks, smashed toward Long Chen. Long Chen fearlessly took the attack head-on with his fist. It was a battle between the strong, a contest of strength. Long Chen's fist collided with the armored giant's fist, creating a terrifying boom. Scrap metal, break. Long Chen let out a long roar, and his fist energy was like a rainbow as he continuously swung it, clashing with the armored giant. Bang! A Vajra realm giant couldn't withstand Long Chen's power and was directly crushed. Then Long Chen soared into the sky and stepped on the body of a Vajra giant. This step was like the resurrection of an ancient dragon and elephant, suppressing the heavens. The armored giant was also crushed into pieces, turning into energy and disappearing. After Long Chen crushed the giant, he used the force to pounce on the only genius of the sacred temple. His fist force was like a rainbow, unstoppable. The heaven's favorite from the soul sacred hall grunted and flew out of the fighting ring, spitting out blood. Long Chen won again. The entire place fell silent. Previously, it was normal for Long Chen to defeat a heaven's favorite of the same level with one move. But now, he had crossed a level and defeated the only heaven's favorite of the sacred temple. This was shocking. Furthermore, this heaven's favorite from the only divine temple was extremely powerful. He had just defeated all the heaven's favorites of the same level in the Purple Flame Villa. The only heaven's favorite from the temple had a dark expression. The paragons of the Purple Flame Villa were dumbfounded. Only Lu Ming and Huang Ling's expressions remained unchanged. This result was within their expectations. Long Chen had mastered the laws of the way of the king, and his spiritual body had evolved into a superior-grade heavenly spiritual body. It was normal for him to defeat an opponent one level higher than him. In fact, Long Chen had not even used his full strength just now. Good, huh? Ouyang Wushuang laughed and let out a long breath, releasing all the anger he had suppressed. Ouyang Wuji's face darkened and he did not say anything. Long Chen, it's my turn to play. At this moment, Huang Ling stood up, stepped on the air, and landed on the fighting ring. Long Chen nodded and left the fighting ring. Guys, I'm also a great saint. I'll learn from brother Long Chen and challenge someone at the peak of the great saint realm. Who's going to challenge me? Huang Ling's voice rang out as she looked towards the one and only divine temple. Another great saint in the upper tier challenging a great saint in the peak? Could it be that this beautiful woman was also a heaven's favorite on the same level as Long Chen? How can a heaven's favorite of that level appear so easily? I don't believe it. I'll fight this battle. In the only sacred palace, a woman flew up. This woman was also quite beautiful, but she paled in comparison to Huang Ling. She was already unhappy when she saw Huang Ling, and now that Huang Ling wanted to challenge a supreme saint peak with her cultivation of the great saint realm, she went up directly. And NBSP without saying anything else, the two of them immediately attacked. The only woman from the sacred hall controlled the law of water and had countless changes. Her strength was extremely shocking. However, he met Feng Ling and his defeat was set in stone. Just like Long Chen, after a few moves, Huang Ling knocked her opponent off the fighting ring. Law of unperishable flame, another king body, how is this possible? Many people were dumbfounded. Chapter 1826, I'll play too. Chapter 1826, I'll play too. Previously, there was Long Chen, and now there was Feng Ling. She had also mastered the laws of King Path and her combat strength was shocking. She had crossed a level and defeated her opponent. Ouyang Wuji's expression became uglier and uglier. He had invited Ouyang Wushuang, Lu Ming, and the others to the banquet with the purpose of beating Ouyang Wushuang at the banquet. He wanted to sweep away Ouyang Wushuang's side with a sweeping force. In the end, he would force Ouyang Wushuang to agree to help him fight against Ouyang Wudao when he lost all his confidence. But now, Long Chen and Feng Ling had been fighting above their level, and the momentum he had accumulated before had disappeared. Huang Ling floated down and returned to her seat. Sixth brother, I've said before that a high cultivation level also represents a high combat strength. Cultivation level is only one of the factors that determines combat strength. There are many other factors that determine the strength of combat strength. Ouyang Wushuang said and laughed in a carefree manner. Ichern's ninth brother, no matter how strong they are only great saints in the great mastery. They can defeat great saints in the peak, but can they defeat great saints in the great perfection? Will the two of them be of any use in this test? Ouyang Wuji coldly snorted. No matter how strong Long Chen and Phoenix Spirit were, they were only equivalent to two powerful supreme saints at the peak. How could they affect the overall situation? This test wasn't about who was stronger in a battle of the same level. What's the rush? Isn't the competition not over yet? Ouyang Wushuang smiled faintly. The competition isn't over? They had already competed in the Great Sage Great Mastery. Were they going to compete in the Great Sage Minor Mastery? Ninth brother, what's the use of a Great Sage in the Minor Mastery realm in this test? Are you going to die? Ninth brother, don't tell me you've invited someone from the Great Sage Minor Mastery? Ouyang Wuji's repeated questions were filled with sarcasm. At the same time, his gaze swept across the crowd and finally landed on Lu Ming. On Ouyang Wushuang's side, the people from the Purple Flame Villa were all at the peak of the Great Saint Realm and the Great Saint Perfection Realm. Long Chen and Huang Ling had both revealed their cultivation, and the only one who had not revealed his cultivation was Lu Ming. If he was a great sage initial, then it could only be Lu Ming. The others also looked at Lu Ming. Sixth brother, I just said that having a high cultivation level doesn't mean that your combat strength is high. Ouyang Wushuang added. How can I not know this? However, even if one's cultivation is low, there must be a limit. He's just a great sage minor mastery. Even if he can fight a higher level like the previous two, what's the use? He's only equivalent to a figure in the great sage great mastery. I'm afraid anyone here can defeat him. Ninth brother, at the end of the day, you're not that strong. You've helped me deal with the first prince. They'll still say the same thing, I won't mistreat you. Ouyang Wuji rattled on and on. However, he did not see the expressions of Mo Lang, the Golden Crow Sixth Prince, and the other people from Guyu Holy Land. He also did not see the expressions of the people from the Purple Flame Villa. The Great Sage Lower Mastery was equivalent to a Great Sage Upper Mastery? To Lu Ming, it was not valid at all. Ouyang Wushuang ignored Ouyang Wuji and looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, do you want to play? He asked. All right, let's play. Lu Ming stood up. Brother Lu Ming, beat them up. Chirpy. Bubbles waved her small fists and cheered for Lu Ming. This pervert is going to make a move. The people from the Purple Flame Villa looked at Lu Ming with deep fear in their eyes. However, they naturally would not warn the Soul Divine Temple. They would be happy to see the Soul Divine Temple suffer after being humiliated like that. All right. Lu Ming touched Bubbles' small head, then stepped out and landed on the fighting ring. It's this lecherous fellow. He's a complete piece of trash. He dared to flirt with junior sister Chuyue on the street and was sent flying by my palm. Now he's still acting. A young man from the Soul Holy Temple laughed in disdain. So it's this person, he really has guts. The other person from the Divine Temple sneered. Everyone, this person is not simple. Mo Lang from the Skywolf Tower wanted to remind the supreme talent of the only sacred temple. What do you mean by not simple? Isn't he just a great sage lower tier? Are you looking down on us because my Soul Divine Temple lost 2 matches? Yu Shu's gaze swept towards Mo Lang, causing Mo Lang's heart to skip a beat. He then shook his head and kept his mouth shut. These people from the only Divine Temple were very arrogant and looked down on Mo Lang and the others. During this period of time, Mo Lang and the others had been ridiculed. Since these people did not listen to him, he was too lazy to say anything. Boy, let me tell you, you're just a great sage minor mastery. There's no great sage minor mastery here to fight with you. You must challenge him. In 2 days, he'll ask a junior brother to play with you. One of the supreme talents from the Soul Divine Temple looked at Lu Ming with a mocking expression. You only know how to challenge people of the same level. How can you be considered a Heaven's Pride expert? You're just trash. Since you're a Heaven's Pride expert, you must fight above your level. All of you, as long as you're in the Great Sage realm, can come up and fight. Lu Ming said calmly. What? The only Heaven's favorites from the Divine Temple, including Ouyang Wuji, were all stunned. What did Lu Ming say? As long as it's an eminent saint, he can fight it out. Is this kid crazy? A mere great sage minor mastery actually dared to make such a bold statement, saying that he could fight anyone in the great sage realm? Did he really think that the people here were all trash? Everyone here was a top-tier Heaven's Pride expert. It was almost impossible for an ordinary warrior to fight a great sage in the lower mastery realm, not to mention that they were all Heaven's Pride experts. This kid was absolutely crazy. Haha, this kid. Could it be that he's gone crazy after being hit by my palm last time? The young man who had sent Lu Ming flying previously burst out laughing. He couldn't even block a single palm from him, and he still dared to say that he could even fight a great sage. If he wasn't crazy, what was he? Ninth brother, did you really invite this person? I'm afraid you haven't seen much of the world. Ouyang Wuji sneered. A great sage lower mastery could fight a great sage in the Great Perfection realm, and he was a top Heaven's Pride expert. He didn't believe that there was such a person in the world. So much nonsense, do you dare to go up or not? Lu Ming berated and looked down at the only Divine Temple, Mo Lang and the rest. Mo Lang and the rest felt their hearts skip a beat when Lu Ming's gaze swept over them. They did not dare to look Lu Ming in the eye and lowered their heads. They knew that they were not Lu Ming's match. They'll kill this kid. He has been staring at junior sister Chuyue since he arrived. I want him to know what kind of trash he is. A young man from the only holy temple shouted coldly and rushed up the fighting ring. The aura on his body bloomed. He was an expert at the peak of the great saint realm. Senior brother, go easy on him. Don't kill him with one move. I'll be boring. The young man who had sent Lu Ming flying with a single palm on the street shouted. Make your move. Lu Ming looked at the other party indifferently. Kneel down, die. The young man bellowed and struck out with his palm. A huge khaki palm grabbed at Lu Ming. This person controlled the law of the earth, and his strength was astonishing. Boom. Lu Ming made his move. It was a very simple punch. Chapter 1827, Summoning Qiu Yu. Chapter 1827, Summoning Qiu Yu. Lu Ming cast the prison-suppressing heavenly art. The chaotic laws circulated and he threw a punch. The terrifying fist force whistled and destroyed the opponent's large hand as if it was a piece of rotten wood. The face of the heaven's favorite from the soul's sacred hall sank as he shouted coldly, You have some ability. Let's see how many moves you can take. The other party waved his palm and the law of earth in the sky circulated, forming mountains that pressed down on Lu Ming. I'm too lazy to play with you, let's go, Lu Ming said indifferently. He took a step forward and rushed toward his opponent like a bolt of lightning. At the same time, he threw a punch. A ray of fist radiance pierced through the air and swept away the mountains. The terrifying fist force did not stop and continued to blast toward the genius of the only holy temple. The fist force was unstoppable, as if it was pressing down on the entire world. The other party's expression changed drastically. The law of earth circulated, setting up layers of defense in front of him. However, it was useless. Lu Ming's fist force crushed all the defenses. The heaven's favorite from the only sacred hall spat out a mouthful of blood as his body was sent flying far away, landing on the fighting ring. The entire place was silent. The only heaven's favorite at the peak of the great saint realm in the temple was defeated by Lu Ming so easily. It was as if he had swept away all obstacles. How could a person in the minor mastery of the great sage realm have such amazing combat strength? The expressions of the other heaven's favorites from the sacred temple were dark. As for Mo Lang, the Golden Crow second prince, the Ancient Moon Holy Land geniuses, and the Purple Flame Villa geniuses, they all had complicated expressions. They were well aware of Lu Ming's combat strength. They were not surprised by this result. How is that possible? The young man who had sent Lu Ming flying with a single palm on the street widened his eyes in disbelief at the scene. Wasn't Lu Ming able to be sent flying by his palm? Why was his combat strength so terrifying now? Sixth brother, I've said before, cultivation has never represented combat power. Ouyang Wushuang laughed. Ouyang Wuji's face darkened and he did not say anything. Previously, when Feng Ling and Long Chen were able to defeat the genius of the one and only divine temple, it was already a surprise. But now, Lu Ming was able to defeat the genius of the one and only divine temple, who was 2 levels higher than him. Even he found it unbelievable. Supreme Saint Realm. If any of you want to come up and fight, you can. Lu Ming stood on the fighting ring, his voice spreading in all directions. But this time, no one laughed or mocked him. This was because Lu Ming had just used his combat strength to prove that he had the ability. "I'll do it." A voice was heard. Then, a figure stepped into the air and landed on the fighting ring. Yushu. Many people were shocked. Yu Kuan was a great saint in the Great Circle. He had defeated all the great saints in the Purple Flame Villa with his powerful combat strength. It could be said that this person's combat power was definitely the best in the Great Saint Perfection level. In a battle of the same level, he was almost invincible without the king physique. Now, he was going to fight Lu Ming, who was only in the Great Sage Minor Mastery. Many people were very curious. Could Lu Ming fight with Yushu? Although Lu Ming is strong, he's not Yukun's match. I've heard of a great sage in the lower tier fighting a great sage in the Great Perfection realm. However, I've never heard of a great sage in the Great Perfection realm fighting a prodigy like Yu Kuan. That's right. Even the Son of God can't do that. The difference in cultivation is too big. The only heaven's favorites from the sacred hall were discussing. This time, even Mo Lang, the second prince of the Golden Crow, and the proud children of heaven of the Purple Flame Villa thought that Lu Ming did not have a high chance of winning. Although Lu Ming could kill a heaven's favorite like Wan Xingyang, Wan Zhengyang's cultivation base was also in the great same perfection, but he was definitely not Yushu's match. Make your move, Lu Ming said indifferently. Kill. Yushu's body was covered in white flames. The temperature was shockingly high. The flames formed a saber and slashed at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's chaotic laws circulated all over his body as he used the prison-suppressing heavenly art. His palm was like a blade as he slashed out. Boom! With a loud explosion, the power of fire spread across half of the fighting ring. Then, a figure was seen retreating 7 or 8 steps before he could stand firm. That figure was Yushu, while Lu Ming did not move an inch. Yushu has been repelled. Many people gasped. Could it be that even Lian Qi was not Lu Ming's match? The laws he controls seem to be the laws of chaos. Someone suddenly exclaimed. That's right. The light of chaos is very similar to the legendary law of chaos. Is this person the son of chaos, one of the sons of heaven? It should be. Otherwise, it can't be so powerful. I didn't expect the son of chaos to appear here. Many people could tell that Lu Ming controlled the laws of chaos. They immediately started a heated discussion. Ouyang Wuji's face turned even colder. He did not expect Ouyang Wushuang to know a son of chaos. Ninth brother, you have a wide network. You actually know a son of chaos. Ouyang Wuji's voice was filled with jealousy. Of course, he was jealous. Huang Ling and Long Chen, who were invited by Ouyang Wuji, had mastered the King Path Law. Lu Ming, on the other hand, had mastered one of the 10 strongest laws. Although such a heaven's favorites cultivation base was still weak now, he would definitely be extremely terrifying in the future. Why didn't he know such a powerful heaven's favorite? Damn it! Yushu took a step back and growled in a low voice. Her face turned even gloomier. The Soul Divine Temple was known as the one and only in the world. However, he was forced to retreat by Lu Ming even though his cultivation level was so much higher. It was unbearable. The flames on his body burned even more fiercely. The white flames danced and twisted the space. However, at this moment, Lu Ming's gaze moved away from Yushu and looked at the one and only divine temple, then at Qiuyu. At this moment, Qiuyu was also sizing Lu Ming up curiously as if she did not know him at all. Qiuyu, Lu Ming. Your young master. Do you still remember me? Lu Ming's voice could be heard from afar. Lu Ming? Young master? His words made Qiuyu frown, as if she was in deep thought. Fanatic, how dare you? This guy is taking advantage of junior sister Qiuyu again. Senior brother Yushu, teach him a good lesson. The Heaven's Pride expert from the Soul Divine Temple shouted unhappily. Raging flames and storm slash. At this moment, Yushu roared. The flames all over his body condensed into a huge saber. He slashed hundreds of times in an instant. The blazing saber light swept out and enveloped Lu Ming. This was Yukun's divine art, and its power was extremely shocking. Get lost! Lu Ming shouted and pointed a finger. A huge chaos finger of tribulation formed and shot toward Yuchan Boom. The finger of chaos tribulation was like the finger of a god. With one point, all the saber beams were shattered. The terrifying force crushed toward Yushu. Yushu retreated all the way to the edge of the fighting ring before he stopped. His body trembled slightly and he was almost blown off the fighting ring by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's gaze never once fell on Yushu. He was still staring at Qiuyu. Qiuyu, it's been more than 10 years since we last met. Do you still remember Master and Madam, my father Lu Yuntian, and my mother Li Ping? They all miss you very much. Lu Ming continued. Chapter 1828. Chapter 1828, Defeated by E. Chapter 1828. Chapter 1828, Defeated by E. Master, Madam, Master. Madam. Qiuyu mumbled to herself as the look of contemplation in her eyes became even more intense. Her eyebrows were tightly knitted together, as if she was thinking hard about something. Kill! Yuan roared and charged at Lu Ming again. Flames filled the sky. In the sky, sabers and swords condensed from flames appeared. Like a storm, they charged at Lu Ming. This move was Yushu's strongest move. He had unleashed his sacred art to the extreme. Get down! Lu Ming did not even look and pointed his finger again. Lu Ming had raised the power of the chaos finger of tribulation to its maximum. Lu Ming did not use his full strength in the previous finger attack. And NBSP, the chaos laws exploded, and the chaos tribulation finger was formed, crushing everything in its path. All the weapons condensed by the flame exploded in an instant. Yushu's expression changed drastically. With a scream, his body was blown away like a cannonball. He flew out of the fighting ring and flew a long distance before he fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. He was severely injured by this move. If not for his fire spirit body and tenacious vitality, his physical body would have exploded. Yushu had been defeated, completely and utterly defeated. Many people were silent. This level of combat strength had already exceeded their imagination. A great sage minor mastery had actually defeated Yukuan, who was a great sage in the Great Perfection realm. Yukuan was a peerless genius. Such combat strength was simply unheard of. Especially the paragons of the Purple Flame Villa. They thought of how they had laughed at Lu Ming and the others when they first saw them. Now that they thought about it, they felt embarrassed and ashamed. Some of the people from the Soul Divine Temple were red in the face. Previously, Lu Ming had said that they could challenge anyone who was at the Great Saint Realm. They had even mocked Lu Ming for being crazy. Now, it seemed that Lu Ming was very confident. On the other hand, they seemed a little ridiculous, like jumping clowns. Ouyang Wushuang laughed heartily. Sixth brother, so what? So what if you're a great sage in the Great Perfection realm? You still lost. It seems that my side is stronger. Sixth brother, do you want to help me to get the position of Crown Prince? Ouyang Wushuang said with a smile. Ouyang Wuji's face was extremely gloomy. He knew that his plan to suppress Ouyang Wushuang and make him help him fight against the first prince, Ouyang Wudao, had failed. It was all because of Lu Ming, Long Chen, and Feng Ling. Ouyang Wuji's fists were clenched together as his eyes turned cold. In the beginning, everything was going according to his plan, and everything was going smoothly. However, after Long Chen made his move, all his plans were thrown into chaos. Long Chen and Feng Ling were extremely powerful. They were able to defeat the only heaven's favorite of the Sacred Hall. However, this was not a big deal. No matter how strong Long Chen and Feng Ling were, they could not fight against supreme saints in the Great Perfection realm. It did not affect the overall situation much. However, Lu Ming's attack had completely disrupted his plan. Lu Ming's combat strength could even defeat Yushu. This level of combat strength could already affect the outcome of the battle. In this case, he did not have an overwhelming advantage. Why would Ouyang Wushuang help him? Ninth brother, this test will be a competition of overall strength. Although Lu Ming is strong, he's alone. I'd advise you to help me. Ouyang Wuji's face darkened. Oh, since that's the case, we'll see who's stronger and who's weaker during the assessment. Ouyang Wushuang said. All right, we'll see during the assessment. Ouyang Wuji said coldly. All sorts of thoughts ran through the crowd's minds, but Lu Ming's gaze was fixed on Qiuyu. Qiuyu, what's wrong with you? You still remember the Lu family of Fiery Wind City? Do you still remember the mystical sword sect? Do you still remember the Burning Sun Empire? Lu Ming's voice was like a great bell that resonated in the heavens and earth. He asked a series of questions in succession as if he wanted to penetrate deep into Qiuyu's heart. The Lu family of Fiery Wind City? Mystical Sword Sect? The Lu family of Fiery Wind City? Qiuyu kept muttering to herself. Her eyes were blank. After a while, a pained expression appeared on her face. She let out a soft cry and shot into the sky. She turned into a ray of light and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming was about to give chase, but his figure flashed. A few of the temple's geniuses blocked his path. Damn it, what did you say to Qiuyu? Why was she so abnormal? If anything happens to junior sister Chua, you'll die without a burial place. The paragon of the Soul Divine Temple shouted coldly, and a powerful aura pressed toward Lu Ming. What's wrong? Are you trying to bully me with your numbers? Let's go. Long Chen said as he stepped forward and came to Lu Ming's side. Huang Ling did the same. Impudent. Ouyang Wuji shouted coldly and stood up abruptly. A powerful aura burst out from his body as he looked at Lu Ming and the rest with a cold gaze. At the same time, Emma Lang, the Golden Crow's second prince, and the rest were also staring at Lu Ming with unfriendly gazes. If they could take the opportunity to kill Lu Ming today, they would be more than willing to do so. Sixth brother, the test hasn't even started yet, and you're already going to fight me? If this gets out, both of us will be disqualified. Wouldn't that be too good for Ouyang Wudao? Ouyang Wushuang also stood up and confronted Ouyang Wuji. Ouyang Wuji's expression changed. He did want to take the opportunity to cripple Lu Ming. However, Ouyang Wushuang was right. If the two of them started a fight first, the consequences would be unpredictable. Regardless of whether they would be disqualified or not, it would benefit Ouyang Wudao. Ninth brother, let's meet at the assessment. Ouyang Wuji muttered to himself for a moment before he waved his sleeves and snorted. Lu Ming, let's go first. Ouyang Wushuang looked at Lu Ming and asked. Lu Ming looked in the direction that Chiu Yu had left in, frowning. Something must have happened to Chiu Yu. However, one thing was for sure. Chiu Yu's body was not possessed. If he was possessed by someone else and Lu Ming kept asking him questions, he would definitely not have this reaction. Chiu, I will definitely find out what you have been through. Lu Ming's gaze was very cold. The only thing he could do now was to find out what Chiu Yu had gone through before he could find the right solution. Lu Ming did not give chase. He turned around and left the place with Ouyang Wushuang and the rest. In Ouyang Wushuang's mansion, Lu Ming and Ouyang Wushuang were sitting opposite each other at a stone table in a courtyard. Lu Ming, you're here to ask me about Miss Chiyue? Do you know her? Are you really her young master? Ouyang Wushuang asked out of curiosity. Not bad, yes. Lu Ming nodded. Chiyue and I came from the same place. Before she came to the Yuan continent, she was my servant. Lu Ming briefly explained his relationship with Chiu Yu. The only proud daughter of the Divine Temple is actually your maidservant. After listening, Ouyang Wushuang was amazed. But when Chiu Yu saw me earlier, she didn't seem to recognize me at all. Something must have happened to her. Ouyang, have you heard any news about this? Lu Ming asked. Earlier, Lu Ming came to look for Ouyang Wushuang alone to ask about this. Ouyang Wushuang was the prince of the Divine Origin Empire. He was in the ancient Sun's sacred land with the only sacred hall, so he might know something. Chapter 1829. Chapter 1829. Leading troops into battle. Chapter 1829. Chapter 1829. Leading troops into battle. What's happening? Ouyang Wushuang frowned and pondered. After a while, he said, a year ago, something big did happen in the ancient Yang Holy Land. I wonder if it has anything to do with Miss Chiu Yu? What is it? Lu Ming asked hurriedly. A year ago, Miss Qiyu's master, the only powerful existence in the Divine Temple, suddenly went crazy and killed his way to the Daluo Heaven sect. In the end, for some unknown reason, Master Chiyue retreated again. Ouyang Wushuang said, Master Chiyue suddenly went to the Daluo Heaven sect? Lu Ming was in deep thought. Miss Qiyu's master is definitely a true emperor, and even among the true emperors, he's an extremely powerful existence. The Daluo Heaven sect is the most powerful existence in the ancient Yang Holy Land, and it's even said that there's a great emperor in charge. If there's nothing important, why would Miss Qiyu's master come to the Daluo Heaven sect? This matter caused a great shock in the ancient Sun Holy Land at that time. Later on, there were many different opinions. People were guessing what exactly happened to make a powerful true emperor so angry that he went to the Daluo Heaven sect. But in the end, he left without a solution. But until now, there has been no unified explanation. Ouyang Wushuang said, Daluo Heaven sect? Could it be that what happened to Chiyue is related to the Daluo Heaven sect? Lu Ming frowned. Then, He chatted with Ouyang Wushuang for a while more but could not come to a conclusion. In the end he bade farewell and left. In the blink of an eye, another 7 days had passed. 7 days later, Ouyang Wushuang gathered everyone again. Everyone, the content of this assessment is out. It will be divided into 3 stages. The first stage will be the assessment of leading an army in battle. Ouyang Wushuang said, "Leading an army into battle?" Everyone was stunned. That's right. If you want to become the crown prince of a country, you need to be outstanding in all aspects, such as martial Dao talent, wisdom, connections, etc., before you can control a country. The first round will be held in a world of formations. I, Ouyang Wuji, and Ouyang Wudao will each lead an army of 30,000 in battle. We will be ranked according to our battle results. Ouyang Wushuang explained. Each side has 30,000 troops. Are the cultivation levels of these 30,000 troops similar for all 3 sides? Someone asked. If one side's 30,000 strong army was strong while the other side's was weak, then no matter how strong one's commanding ability was, it was useless. Don't worry about that. Everyone who enters the world of formations will only use their spiritual consciousness. Anyone who enters will have their cultivation suppressed to LV1 Martial Emperor realm. Even if they are killed inside, they will only be eliminated and not killed. Ouyang Wushuang said. No wonder. Everyone's heart moved. Everyone who entered would have their cultivation suppressed to the first-level Martial Emperor realm. In other words, the 30,000 soldiers were all at the first-level Martial Emperor realm. They would also be at the first-level Martial Emperor realm when they entered. In an army of tens of thousands of soldiers, an individual's battle prowess could hardly affect the overall situation. Only the ability to command troops and the cooperation of battle formations would be fully displayed. The first test will take the longest time. There will be 2 months of training at the start. In these 2 months, I will lead 30,000 troops and train their battle formations. 2 months later, the 3 sides will begin to fight against each other. Starting from today, I will take you to see. After Ouyang Wushuang finished speaking, he walked out. Everyone followed him, and soon, they arrived at a vast and spacious area. Mysterious runes glowed in all directions, forming a mysterious array. On the ground, there were many figures sitting cross-legged with their eyes closed, as if they were in a meditative state. There are a total of 30,000 people here, and they are currently in the world of formations. There are experts from the Empire guarding this place, so you can enter the world of formations without worry. No one will disturb you. Let's go in as well, Ouyang Wushuang said. He landed on the ground first and sat down cross-legged. Lu Ming and the rest landed on the ground, sat cross-legged, and closed their eyes. Instantly, inscriptions climbed up their bodies and enveloped them. Lu Ming felt as if his spirit had left his body and entered a void. Soon, he opened his eyes and found himself on a platform. Ouyang Wushuang, Feng Ling, Long Chen, and the others had also appeared. As expected, he's only at the LV1 Martial Emperor realm. Lu Ming sensed his body. Indeed, he was only left with the cultivation of a first-level Martial Emperor. Everyone else was the same. Their cultivation was at the first-level Martial Emperor realm. It's amazing. It's similar to the floating platform in the Dragon God Valley. Lu Ming sighed. The sky-high floating platform in Dragon God Valley was also a place where one's spirit could enter to cultivate. This array world was also where one's spirit could enter and then condense a body from the array world. In front of the platform, there was a huge military camp. He could see many people in the military camp. Let's go! Ouyang Wushuang took the lead and flew over, followed by the rest. The 9th prince is here. Someone in the military camp shouted. Sound the army drums, the army will gather. Ouyang Wushuang passed down the order. Thump, thump, boom. His deep voice reverberated throughout the entire camp. With a flash of their figures, the army gathered on the empty drill ground. Not long after, the 30,000-strong army had gathered. Each of them wore black armor and were all LV1 Martial Royal Realm martial artists. They stood together with an imposing aura. Ouyang Wushuang stood at a high place and looked around. This time, the 6th prince, Ouyang Wuji, and the first prince, Ouyang Wudao, are fighting for the position of crown prince. If you all help me become the crown prince, you will all be heroes. When I inherit the throne in the future, I will definitely not forget you. Ouyang Wushuang's voice reverberated throughout the entire area. I'll do my best to help the 9th prince become the crown prince. The 30,000-strong army roared. If they could help the 9th prince become the crown prince, Ouyang Wushuang would take control of the divine Yuan Empire in the future. Their lives would be much better, and they would have more opportunities. If they could seize the opportunity, they might be able to rise to the top. All right, we'll train together for the next 2 months. I have a formation here, the Sky Tiger Roaring Formation. You'll have to train this formation with all your might for the next 2 months. Ouyang Wushuang said. Yes. The 30,000-strong army received the order, and their voices shook the heavens. In a battle between great armies, only by coordinating with a great formation could they display their powerful combat strength. Some formations could even unleash 10 times, or even 100 times the combat power. An army that did not know how to use battle formations would be easily defeated by an army that knew how to use battle formations. Everyone, please take a good rest during the first round of assessment. We will need your help for the second and third round. Ouyang Wushuang looked at Lu Ming and the rest. The first round was the battle of commanding troops. Lu Ming and the others were only at the LV-1 Martial Royal Realm after entering this place, so they were not of much use. Their role was mainly in the second and third round. 9th Prince, please go ahead. Well, just look around. A genius from the Purple Flame Villa said. All right. Ouyang Wushuang nodded and went to teach the Heavenly Tiger Sky Roaring Formation to the 30,000-strong army. Chapter 1830, Lu Ming's Plan. Chapter 1830, Lu Ming's Plan. Lu Ming and the rest took a casual look and left the place. The first round indeed had little to do with them. In the following days, Ouyang Wushuang devoted himself to training the army. He trained the Heavenly Tiger Sky Roaring Formation with the 30,000 troops. Half a month passed by in the blink of an eye. During this period of time, Lu Ming had been cultivating wholeheartedly. His cultivation was approaching the Great Sage Mastery. However, after reaching the Great Saint Realm, the progress of cultivation became slower and slower. It became more and more difficult. After cultivating for half a month, Lu Ming stopped for a while and walked around. Then, he entered the array to see how Ouyang Wushuang 1's training was going. Roar! An army of 30,000 galloped across the vast land like a mighty flood. The earth rumbled, and the momentum was shocking. As far as the eye could see, it was a black torrent. True essence surged, and a giant tiger formed in the sky above the 30,000 troops. This giant tiger was tens of thousands of feet tall and was even larger than a mountain. Its aura was shocking. This was the Heavenly Tiger Sky Roaring Formation. 30,000 first-level martial emperors formed a large formation and formed a heavenly tiger. Even a half-saint would be torn apart. Furthermore, as the 30,000 soldiers trained for a longer period of time, they would become more familiar with the technique and their combat strength would also increase. Lu Ming stood high in the sky and watched quietly. After a few hours of training, the army finally stopped to rest. A figure flew toward Lu Ming. It was Ouyang Wushuang. Lu Ming, why are you here today? Ouyang Wushuang said with a smile. I'm here to see how your training is going. How was it? Do you have any confidence in the first test? Lu Ming asked. I'm not confident. Ouyang Wushuang shook his head and said with a serious face, I obtained this Heavenly Tiger Sky Roaring Formation by accident. It's very powerful, but I can't guarantee that Ouyang Wudao and Ouyang Wuji don't have powerful battle formations. If they have a battle formation that is not weaker than mine, this battle will be very difficult. There are 3 sides and they are restraining each other. The situation changes rapidly, and no one is confident of winning. Ouyang Wushuang said. Lu Ming nodded. The 3 sides had 30,000 troops and their abilities were similar. They restrained each other and the situation was constantly changing. No one could predict who would win before the results were out. Lu Ming lowered his head and pondered for a moment. have a battle formation here that is far more powerful than the heavenly tiger sky roaring formation. Perhaps I can give it a try. Its power is far above the heavenly tiger sky roaring formation. Ouyang Wushuang's eyes lit up. Yes, this formation is called the True Dragon Battle Formation. Lu Ming nodded. He took out a jade token and passed it to Ouyang Wushuang. This battle formation had been found in the 9 Dragons' memories. It was extremely powerful, far above the heavenly tiger sky roaring formation. Ouyang Wushuang used his spiritual sense and the joy on his face grew. With this battle formation, I'm even more confident. Ouyang Wushuang said, "Not necessarily. If he doesn't use it well, he'll probably be the first to be eliminated." Lu Ming said. He was not that optimistic. You're saying would it cause Ouyang Wudao and Ouyang Wuji to join forces? Ouyang Wushuang was also a smart person. He immediately understood what Lu Ming meant. If his battle formation was too strong and caused Ouyang Wudao and Ouyang Wuji to sense danger, they would join forces to attack him. No matter how strong the true dragon battle formation was, it would still be dangerous. Therefore, out of the 30,000-strong army, only 5,000 can be used to practice the true dragon battle formation. The other 25,000 can continue to train the Sky Tiger roaring formation. During the battle, it's best to sacrifice those 25,000 people. Lu Ming opened his mouth and explained a strategy. His plan was simple. When the 3 sides fought, he would sacrifice 25,000 soldiers. This way, there would only be a few thousand people left. To the other 2 sides, Ouyang Wushuang would not be much of a threat. Their attention would only be on each other. This way, Ouyang Wushuang could just sit back and reap the benefits. Of course, this plan required the remaining thousands of people to be strong enough and the battle formation they formed to be powerful enough. Otherwise, even if they were to sit back and reap the benefits, it would probably be useless. Alright, well, follow this plan. Ouyang Wushuang was also a decisive person. He immediately decided to use Lu Ming's plan. Ouyang, I hope that you can win in the first round. Lu Ming smiled. Ouyang Wushuang was a silver inheritor and had to listen to him. Lu Ming also hoped that Ouyang Wushuang could defeat the other 2 sides and become the crown prince, controlling the Xinyuan Empire in the future. In this way, there were only benefits and no disadvantages to Lu Ming. Immediately, Ouyang Wushuang selected 5,000 people to train the true dragon battle formation in secret. Lu Ming left the array world and strolled around the Xinyuan Empire. He bought a few things and headed towards Ouyang Wushuang's residence. You piece of trash, hand over your pill now. Otherwise, it'll completely cripple you. Lu Ming had just turned into a mansion when he heard a voice. Don't even think about it. This is my reward for working hard for a year. Don't even think about taking it. If you have the ability, kill me. At this time, another voice was heard. From their voices, they didn't seem very old. Lu Ming was curious. He moved and appeared on the roof of a hall. He looked ahead. In front of them, there were 5 to 6 youths, all around 14 to 15 years old. 5 of them wore surrounding a black-clothed youth, staring at him with unfriendly eyes. The black-clothed youth looked at the others with a stubborn expression. Ouyang Moli, since you want to die so badly, well, fulfill your wish. Don't think that we don't dare to kill you. A piece of trash like you who can't even awaken your bloodline. Even if we kill one you, who would care? A yellow-robed young man sneered. That's right. Hand over the pill. Even if a piece of trash like you gets the stabilizing pill, it's still a waste of God's gift. You might as well hand it over to us. Be filial to us in the future. Only then can trash like you struggle on whilst at death's door. Otherwise, only death awaits. The other youths sneered. Don't even think about it. The stabilizing pill is mine. It's my last hope. If you want to take the stabilizing pill, you might as well kill me. The black-robed youth, Ouyang Moli, shouted. Since that's the case, I'll fulfill your wish. The yellow-robed young man kicked Ouyang Moli in the stomach. Ouyang Moli cried out in pain as his body was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood and his face turned pale. However, his eyes were still firm as he stared at the yellow-robed youth and the others. If I don't die, I'll definitely return it to you 10 times over. Ouyang Moli said. His eyes were cold and filled with killing intent. This look made the hearts of the yellow-robed youth and the others turn cold. You won't have the chance. Today is the day you die. The yellow-robed youth said coldly. His true energy surged and he was about to kill Ouyang Moli. At this moment, Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. His palm glowed, and the reincarnation halberd appeared in his hand. But at this moment, the reincarnation halberd shook violently and let out a buzzing sound. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.